mic on?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys can hear me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. You're not just pretending you're just, he's saying something.
Yeah. You want me to turn you up?
Nah, I'm good.
Cool. Say something into the mic. Let me see your decibels.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Me too? No.
Yeah. You're a little soft spoken, so I had to get the mic up on you.
Yeah.
But you'll be all right.
Look at you, audio tech.
You know, it's one of my many talents that I apparently have. It's this and air conditioning units and toilets and
Real utility player.
ADT. Oh, dude, ADT is about to drive me nuts. I sent you those messages earlier. So we're upgrading one of our like security systems at one of our stores. And you know, one of my biggest pet peeves in the world is if I say something like, I'll use a direct example of being like, hey, is there anything else that we need to do or are we good? And they said, yes. Well, that was 2 questions. Like you have to pick which one of those. Like, and I was like, okay, so we are good or like, so there's nothing else that we need to do or are we good? And they go, no. I'm gonna lose. Like this is over like a chat box, and I'm like, bro, like I'm asking you. Both of these are 2 questions. Like I shouldn't have phrased it that way the second time. But as soon as he said no the second time, he said thanks and signed off.
Dude, I'm the mad impatient guy. If I'm calling like some service or company, like I'm tapping 0 to get to an operator as fast as possible. Like, I don't have time to.
Dude.
And even then, my patience is mad then.
Dude, I don't know why, but that just reminded me of this really funny story. I'm not going to name the employee, but they were brand new, so they're still learning. And
it was me.
It was Alyssa overheard and luckily was able to kind of step in. But a customer came in and they're like, hey, what are the prices of these Quest bars? And the employee goes, I don't know. Just stands there, just like waiting for the next question.
That's awesome.
And look, Alyssa was up front, like doing something, and she's like, "Hey, go look it up."
You're right there, bro.
Dude.
Yeah, man.
You know, when you're new, there's a lot to learn, a lot to take in. So,
dude, it's like that. Like I'll go to clothing stores a lot, or like a sneaker store, and I'll ask a question, and they're like, they just act like they don't work there anymore. It's just it's like, dude, I could have done better just searching this on the internet.
Oh,
yeah, man, it's the worst.
you ever have to ask the question like, "Hey, are you still clocked in?" Or,
I usually just like wait and look around for another like approachable person. To be honest. But yeah,
Dude, that is so weird, and it's funny because like, you know, and obviously it's like a little bit more intimidating. I feel like from like a customer standpoint, but there are times where I'll be like, "Hey, man, like how's it going?" And they'll just go.
yeah.
Like all wide-eyed, and I'm like, okay.
they haven't been actually talked to in so long. Dude, everyone just walks by each other and like no one. Yeah, man. Half the time they won't even glance at you. Yeah, man. And from my perspective, when I go to places like that, it's like I see all these automated machines doing all the work. So I'm like, I'm gonna like give you a chance to do your job. But then if I ask you a question, you don't know what's in the store. I'm like, man, come on, dude.
One of the wildest ones that would just remind me when Laurel and I were in San Francisco a month or so ago or whatever, we went to this pizza place, and it's literally like these guys, but the whole thing, like whole kitchen is like plexiglassed over. So like you can't even like really interact with anybody. It's just like 2 computers that you just like walk up like the McDonald's, like self, like whatever, like order, and you just like build your pizza or whatever. Literally. And then when it's done, it texts you. This place is literally smaller than the front of this warehouse. Like there's 3 2-person tables, and it's like, ding, your food's done. And you're like, okay. And you go up there, and it's just waiting there, like 0 interaction with anybody. The 2 pizzas, we got 2 pizzas, and like I got a lemon sparkling water can thing, and Laurel got like a can of kombucha. It was $97, and then it was like the thing. And I know everybody's like been talking about stuff like this, but it was like as soon as you paid, it was like tip 30%, like 25%, like 20%. And I'm like, I didn't even talk to a human being. Like, what are you talking? Like, I literally had to like besides make the pizza, like I literally did every bit of this. And I went up there. The part that was crazy was I went up there afterwards. I got a buffalo chicken pizza, and I was like, "Hey, can I get like a side of ranch?" And he goes, "Oh, that'll be $5."
$5 for
$5 for a side of ranch.
There's so much to unpack with this story. But like, how big were these pizzas for it to be $97?
So it was, they were like deep dish, like Detroit style pizza things. And bro, they were probably yay big. Like they were dense. Like, I mean, but it was like, you know, like a pan pizza that gets like cut into a square. 4 slices that were like this big. Like I easily like ate through mine. Like it was like nothing crazy. But yeah, it was like, I think each pizza ended up being like 40 something, like 38 or $40 or something.
A personal pizza.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like something like Laurel didn't eat all of hers. Like Alyssa wouldn't have eaten all of hers. Yeah. But it would have been no more than 2 meals for them.
You know, they're probably making a lot because they got like these Domino's deals that you can get like 3 large pizzas for like $4 or something. Right, that's not a real deal, but like, dude, I feel like the price of pizza is going down.
Yeah, well, and then it's like the tax is crazy up there. You pay like 16% on anything there. So
extra for pizza tax, or
well, the thing that is really funny is there's a separate fee in San Francisco that's called like San Francisco Ordinance Fee, but it's not a tax per se.
Is it for anything that's got gluten in it, or
it's on everything that we bought? I think it's on like any kind of food or whatever, but it might be on everything. I don't know. Somebody from San Francisco chime in, but call into the show. They like, so everything we bought, there'd be like an extra like $4 or $5 like under the tax. Like, you know how you see like tax and then like liquor tax or something like that, you like go to a restaurant, it was like that, but it was like tax, San Francisco Ordinance Fee percentage, and you're like, it's a tax. Like, it's just another, you guys are already paying like 16% on this, so you're paying like another like 5% on this. It's nuts, dude.
I bet it's because the pizza had lactose in it. Lactose.
Those bastards. San Francisco's a lactose-free city. Don't they know?
The other thing with that story is just where they're starting tips now. It's crazy. Like wild. They start at 25 on some places, 25%. I'm like,
jeez.
I didn't even, like you said, I didn't even talk to anyone.
Right.
Or some cases, all you did was take my order.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, bro, I just paid $95 for 2 fucking pizzas. Pay your people better. Like, yeah, dude. There's some room in the margin there. I'm sure of it. Like,
I know there are reasons for this, but I get a little frustrated at when places have automatic gratuity. Like, it's like, I guess I could, maybe if it was more of the standard, I would be more accepting of it. But like, what if you provide terrible service? Like, what if you're an asshole?
Yeah.
And you're just like, you have to pay me at least 20%. You
right.
Like,
yeah. It's weird. One of the worst ones was like, have you ever been to Miami? All tips are automatic gratuity. I'm pretty sure. Like the whole city of Miami. Like if you go to a restaurant, it's an automatic 18% tip, no matter what. And boy, let me tell you, was the service great there? No, it was the fucking worst. Literally, it was when Trace, Sadie, and I went down to Miami for Wadapalooza. Like, I'm not joking. We went to a brunch place where I had to get up, walk to the bar, grab the pitcher of water, and come back and like set it on our table because it had been that long. And it was like, we waited, and like our server, dude, after we got our food, we didn't see our server for like, if I had to guess, I'd say 45 minutes. Like, no joke, 45 minutes. We had to go to the bar to, like, and this is not how this works. Like, it's not like a place like where it's like we had to go to the bar and ask him to print our tickets so that we could just pay and leave, because we were just waiting. Like, we hadn't, every time we saw our server, he was just like across the thing. But it's like, I don't know. It's one of those deals where it's like, it's not to say like the server shouldn't be paid better, or like, you know, like the whole tip thing like shouldn't be a thing. But it's like, but this was like, dude, when you saw like an automatic 18%, it's like it didn't matter how good good or bad, they were getting 18%, and it was like they just
no incentive to not be lazy.
Yeah. And I'm sure that's not everywhere, but this homeboy at this place was the worst.
I don't like whenever you have to tip prior to even getting the service at all. Like we ordered pizza the other night, and yeah, like when you order from the app, you have to tip first. And I was like, dude, what happens if he eats some of my pizza on the way?
Do I have to call and cancel my tip? How does this work?
I'd like to preface this because I'm sure you guys are the same way I am. Like I tend to tip pretty well.
I do.
I don't tip at all.
I was a server.
I'm
just
kidding. I tip good.
I was a server in college, so yeah, I definitely Sarah usually gets mad at me for tipping more, especially if I use her card. And then
there you go.
Yeah, the other we went to the bar not like a few weeks ago, actually. Yeah, to celebrate me moving, training with Dominic trained, and I tipped one of the bartenders like a lot more than she would have, I guess. And she got the text from it later, and she was like, "Dude, why did you tip her so much?" I don't know. I was just being nice.
Right. Yeah. Well, I was a bartender. I think it's like a double-edged sword to it too, and you understand this, especially where it's like, I was a server and a bartender for a long time. So I know when service is bad because of the kitchen, and I know when service is bad because of the server.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, golly, like I know you're just not doing I know what it's like to be in this exact environment, and I know when you're doing a good job or not a good job.
Yeah.
So if you guys get not terrible service, but just subpar service, like you definitely could have done better, will you tip less?
I only tip less, and if it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just like, if it's fine, but I'm not like thrilled about it, I'd probably tip 20%.
Yeah, I'm usually the same way, but I do just like you said, Thomas. A lot of times I'll have to check myself. 'Cause I'm like, it's probably not their fault.
Yeah.
But if I can see how they're maneuvering, I'm like, yo, this person is. Yeah.
Then I'm like, this ain't the kitchen's fault.
But I'm also,
this isn't the kitchen's fault.
I'm the type of person that I won't ask for anything to be redone because I don't want to piss them off. I don't know what they're gonna do to my food. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'm not gonna be mean until I'm leaving.
Yeah.
I write a snarky little note on the receipt and then walk away.
Do you guys ever leave reviews like through Yelp or anything?
I don't.
I have before. Only when it's terrible. Only when it's like actually atrocious serving. There was a restaurant. It's a big restaurant and it's super popular. But when they had first opened, I went there with a friend, and the problem was they were very busy. This was their second location to open this, and they were very popular on like DoorDash and like whatever, Uber Eats or whatever the things are. But the problem is when you do that, you have to like temper your priority, right? Because they were getting crazy amounts of like DoorDash deliveries like coming through. But the problem is that was coming at the expense of the people who showed up to their restaurant to eat. So my friend and I, my buddy, we got there, waited in line, sat down, like we waited for a while for a table. The bar finally opened up. We sat at the bar, and we ordered food. And and I know this specifically because we actually like had to look. From the time we ordered food until we got food was an hour and 15 minutes.
Ooh.
Like from the time our server, like the bartender took our order. And she's just working the bar, so she's talking to us a lot. Like, I'm so sorry, I don't, And so like that was like, that's wild. Like you guys have, like I get, like you want to make sure that DoorDash and stuff is getting their food, but the people who showed up to your restaurant have to take priority. At least in my mind, like you can't prioritize like somebody not even here.
An hour and 15 minutes sounds like you were like prioritized less than DoorDash. Like at least be thrown in the mix.
Yeah, right. Like it was terrible.
You guys are sitting at the bar.
Yeah.
Typically, the bar is. Usually you get it faster,
right?
So
because usually they're trying to like people. They're wanting people through there.
Yeah.
But so it was an hour and 15 minutes, and so I left a review and was like, "Hey, I get it. Like you guys just opened this location. Like I totally understand, but at the same time, like you guys have to do better about like prioritizing the people who are actually at your restaurant and not the people who are just ordering through online services. Like I get it. You want to get as much as you can, but like." I won't come back now. And like, that's like, and I probably won't order off of DoorDash. What was really cool though, was the GM of the location like commented on there and was like, I really actually appreciate this feedback. Please, like, here's like, give me your email. That she emailed me. She was like, you come back and eat like whenever you want. Just give me a heads up. It's all on me. Like, I got it all taken care of. I'll make sure you have a great experience. To like, and I was like, and I went back and even changed my review after that and was like, hey, and they even said like, after I left this review, like the GM reached out to me and like, cause I'd given it like 1 star. Cause I was like, that's bad. Like, and so they reached out and I changed it to like 3 stars or something like that. And I was like, hey, I actually do like really like appreciate that, because like some places look at bad reviews and they're just like, whatever, or get mad or whatever.
Yeah.
And so we went back. So I'd called her and I was like, hey, like, do you have time to come today? And she's like, yes, as soon as you get here, skip the line, come straight up to the bar, say who you are. They're going to seat you. You're going to be great. And I'm like, okay, cool. So my same buddy, we go to the bar and we say our name. They sit us down, like whatever. And they're like, okay, we're going to take care of you, whatever. And we order our food. Food comes out an hour later.
Dang.
And then we're like, okay. So at this point now I'm like a little upset. You know what I mean? Because now I'm like, there is a disconnect somewhere, guys.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And so I'm like, I'll take another drink. You know what I mean? Because they were like, get whatever you want. And so I was like, I just did not take an advantage. But at the same time, I'm like, oh, man, I've wasted another hour at this restaurant. Mm-hmm. And then our server, who was not the GM, again, kink in the chain here, brought out our ticket with everything on it.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, okay, hey, listen, like, and the GM came, oh no, I'm so sad. And I'm like, yeah, but golly, come on, like, you can't do it then, like right. you've got to be able to do it then, like, of any time, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I've been to that restaurant since, and it's much better now. Everything's fine, and they're a popular restaurant, but it's like, bro, come on.
Maybe fix the problems before you offer, or at least like make an exception, or like find a Band-Aid solution to fix
literally
your experience.
If I was the GM, I would have been like, I would have gone back and cooked the food and like brought it out to you. Like you would have gotten, I would have been like, ticket straight to the front of, like, what? It wasn't expecting like crazy service, but like to wait an hour again, I was like, oh, come on, guys.
You brought up Yelp earlier, and I actually refuse to use Yelp. It is another example of unchecked power. Mm-hmm. They are a service that helps people review everywhere else, but you can't review Yelp themselves. And yeah, it is.
That's a real thing.
I didn't know that.
Yelp is bad,
terrible.
Yeah.
So as a business that you can, I'll walk you through our experience with them.
I'm gonna pour some whiskey.
Heads up on that. I don't know how it tastes. I like some other Pinhook stuff. Yeah, they typically make really good stuff, but I don't know how that one tastes. So hopefully it's not terrible. Anyway, this was years ago. We created a Yelp account to just put the Triad name out there, one other place people can find us. We're not a restaurant, so it wasn't like super ideal, but like we had so much extra time in the back of the store. It's like, man, why not make a Yelp page? Like, what else are we going to do? So we make it, and someone reaches out of like, hey, like we can actually walk you through to like help make your Yelp account more ideal and more findable by people that are looking for you, right? And I'm like, yeah, that actually sounds pretty good. So we schedule a time. I get on the phone with someone that works there, someone that works at corporate, and they walk us through, changing some settings, doing this and that. And then they walk us through advertisements. Hey, here's how you set up an advertisement. And they kind of walk me through how to set it up. And they're like, okay, now next step is you put your credit card information. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And they're like, okay, just let me know when you have that done. And I'm like, no, like we're not paying for ads now. Like maybe we will in the future, but like that was, that was like, you didn't say that in your initial email to like do that. Like, I see what you're doing now, and it's pretty deceiving, but like, I'm going to skip this part. And then the phone call ended with them trying to convince me that we should pay for ads, and me being like, is there anything else other than this that I need to know about? And they're like, well, if we don't do this, we can't move forward. And it's like, okay, well then I guess see you later.
Yeah, dude.
They proceeded to call us roughly once a week and harass not just me, but the employees with like random stuff about like accusing us of being unsmart for not putting money in that will grow our business. They like we're trying to say like we could double your customer base if you just pay for advertisements. They were extremely rude, like worst customer service I have ever had. Dang. And I was like, where do I review Yelp? Because they're terrible.
They will drop you down the results page, like if you don't pay for advertising. So like if somebody Googles like a restaurant or whatever, like Japanese food, and it's like this place pays for ads and this one doesn't, the one that pays for ads gets pulled up higher than the one that doesn't.
Luckily, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I had that same experience whenever I had been, I think I had been training for a few years, and it was one of those like, we can help you get more clients around in the area and things like that. And the dude did the same thing to me. He made me feel like I wasn't smart for not pouring into this. I was like, dude, I don't even have a guarantee that this is gonna work. You just want me to drop this money?
Right.
Yeah.
Dude,
nah.
We get calls like that at the store now. There's some, it's really funny. They'll pick up and it'll be like, hi, please don't hang up the phone. And you're like, okay, this should be good. And it was like, we have found through our system that your business is not receiving the amount of flow that it should based off web findability. Connect now and we'll get you signed up for our program. And like, I'll call, or like, I'll be like, all right, connect me, you know. I've done this a bunch of times because it's kind of fun sometimes.
I was gonna say I don't spend the time to do this.
If I've got a second, and I'll connect, and they'll be like, hi, is this the owner of the company? I'm like, sure is. And they're like, okay, great. So we found that your findability based off of our algorithm is lacking, and that we think that you're missing up to at least like 25 to 30% of customers who are probably searching for you. And I go, can you take me off the call list? And they go, oh, so you just don't want those 25 to 30% customers that are missing you? And I go, listen, lady, we're too busy. We got too many customers. In fact, could you take like 10% away? And she's like, well, no, seriously, like you're missing it. And I'm like, no, I'm being serious with you. I'm pulling my hair out over here. Like there's too many darn customers. So please take me off the call list. It's just, there's too many people in here now. And then they just hang up on you.
I had Yelp used a very similar strategy of just like, you're telling me you don't want more customers? And I'm like, oh, gross. No.
Yeah. People in here? No. We're trying to bankrupt this thing.
Luckily we are not a restaurant.
Yeah.
So we weren't susceptible to them like pushing us down the list. I don't know if we ever did or not, but like I have heard from other people or of restaurants, getting pushed down and like legitimately affecting their business.
For real.
Like luckily we're not in that spot, so I can talk shit on Yelp.
Yeah. Screw you, Yelp.
So this is our platform to give Yelp a bad review. But yeah, dude, being a restaurant, like, dude, that I can't even imagine. Like, as much as they made me mad and they didn't hold my balls in their hand, for lack of a better term. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just got a visual though.
We won't dive into that. But yeah, it's like, dude, if I were a restaurant, I would be exponentially more mad if you could affect how well my business was doing simply because I wasn't paying for ads.
For real.
And to me, that's one of the scariest things about even like social media, like YouTube and Instagram. I always think about that because I have several friends who are running clothing lines, for instance, and dude, if they don't like what you have to say and they pull that, it's like, dang, dude, like if that's your livlivelihood anyway.
For real.
That's rough.
That's well, like people with like YouTube pages like getting demonetized and stuff. It's like
it's happened like a lot recently.
Yeah, it's like, yep, okay, you just don't make money anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
And from what I've heard, a lot of times they don't even give you a reason why. They just pull it.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It's honestly, it is kind of nice to hear about those things though, because it like makes you think like, all right, maybe we should be a little bit more diverse and, not rely on just one thing that could be pulled at any second. Yeah. So
that's crazy.
I've always tried to rely a little heavier on like word of mouth stuff. And dude, like you guys know, I have business cards still in the store. Like I still do all of that stuff just in case, because dude, I don't like giving people or letting people feel like they have that much control over me anyway.
Yeah.
You're doing your own thing because you didn't want to have a boss.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Speaking of which, we are 30 minutes in and we've not introduced you.
I thought we were just going to wait till the end.
Yeah. Oh yeah, by the way. So this is our close friend, Chad Mathis. Chad is a full-time trainer, killing it out there with his training right now. Just joined a new team, doing all sorts of cool stuff. Chad, talk a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I do online coaching, full-time bodybuilding and lifestyle clientele. Yep. I just signed on with Dominic Trained. We're kind of all over, but they're based out in Ohio actually. So I got to go meet with all of them and stuff. But this is like my second week full, like coaching fully online. It's kind of weird. It's a different, like not having to wake up at like 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. So do you have any in-person clients right now?
No, not anymore. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, I had a few that had to just phase off and do their own thing or sign up with someone else or whatever. But for the most part, a large chunk just moved online.
Yeah. Wow. Well, like the nice thing is I feel like a lot of the clients, you're somebody who keeps clients for a long time. Like I know a number of your clients that you've had for a long time. And I feel like in a lot of those situations, they know a lot of like what they're doing. And it's just kind of like refocusing them more towards like being an online client and stuff.
Yeah. And actually, I mean, for like, even with personal training clients, I don't know how many in-person trainers really do online check-ins and things, but I was kind of a hybrid in the sense that I trained Monday through Thursday, but then actually Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I did check-ins with all of those clients too.
Yeah.
And we used all of the online services to do that through like Google Sheets. And then, so for them to just shift over, the only thing that they were missing just was me not there. So I just had to groom them to learn how to train and be confident.
Yeah. That's awesome. Because how long have you been training?
Since 2015.
Yeah. So same year we started.
Yeah. Oh, dang, really?
Yeah,
man. So it doesn't feel like I've been doing it for that long, but
same.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So and you mentioned how long I've had, or that I have a lot of my clients for a long time. I think my longest client has been 6 years. Yeah. 6 or 7 years. Yeah.
That's a long time, man. That's a long time to have a personal training client.
Yeah. Man. You get to learn them so well that like a lot of times you already know what they're going to say before they even like send their check-ins and things. But yeah. And then you really get to learn what makes them tick. So yeah,
it is a cool thing, man. It is like I guess for lack of a better phrase, but like it is a very intimate thing. Like you spend a lot of time with this person, you get to like understand them and like what they're doing and motivates them. There's all sorts of stuff that goes to the psychology of it. Like training clients and going through, lifestyle or whatever, like there are so many ups and downs that happen within that. And so it's like, I know sometimes just in people that I've helped, like even just in the store, how much you can be like part trainer, part nutrition coach, like part therapist, like part everything,
Dude, I joke all the time with clients and say that I should have gotten a minor in like therapy or some type of like psychology or something, because like that's a huge chunk of it. And, and you don't even know that going into it until it comes up. And you're like, but then there are some that it gets so far that like, hey, this isn't even in my scope of practice anymore. Yeah. And so I got to refer you out. But yeah.
Right. But yeah, I mean, like, you could be dealing with anybody who like somebody just trying to change their life, like somebody maybe like going through a bad breakup or divorce or something. Like there's so many things that can kind of be a part of it.
I know the Annex made a post recently. That's where we get our haircut. They made a post about like if you don't have money to afford a therapist, just come get a haircut with us and talk.
Dude, for real though, like that's so funny.
When you guys go get your haircut at that place, is it just you and the stylist or barber? Is it one-on-one, or is it like a group?
It's a one-on-one. Oh, they have a lot of barbers like under the umbrella of it, but yeah, like it's just like each barber has their own like little. It's like one's an old, like one of their locations is an old house, and then the other one is just kind of like a multi-room like thing in the Paseo. But yeah, it's like you're in your own room with just that guy.
Yeah, it's not the same, because I was gonna bring up the barbershop vibe from like back in the day, but it's not really the same. I don't know if you guys went to barbershops like that, but yeah, dude, it'd be like 6 barbers cutting, and it's just different ages, generations.
Wedgwood.
Yeah,
we used to go to one. It was right next door to Supplement Superstores in Springfield, where we both used to work, and there was a barbershop that had been there for decades.
Like literally shared a wall with it in the shopping center.
And very old school. It was one of those places where like you go in, you tell them kind of what hairstyle you're wanting. You'd get the same thing every time, no matter what you told them. So,
but yeah, it was like 4 barbers, and like you're sitting there getting your haircut by like Tyler, but like you're talking shit to like Ronnie. You know what I mean? Like it's just everybody's just talking and having a good time. That was just, I miss Wedgwood. That was a fun place.
Yeah.
I love barbershops like that. Now I've been going to the same barber for like 11 years.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I found him in college.
Close, man.
Yeah.
Damn, really?
Pretty much since you got to town, we both started going to Max.
Yeah. So 8 years.
Dang. Yeah. Mine's in Edmond. I just drive up from Norman to Edmond. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, once you find that person, man, like it's like one, like I continued going with them. I started going like repeatedly because you were doing a good job and like knew my hair. But then we got to know each other, and it was just like, God, I get to go see Max, once a month.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like I was cheating on him now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've had to like in a crunch, like go to a different barber one time, and I was like, man, Kev's gonna be pissed at me. My barber's name is Kevin.
That happened to me one time. So my sister went through like beauty school and all that kind of stuff, and I had gone back home for something, and my sister was like, let me cut your hair, and I was like, all right, I need a haircut, like whatever. And like I'd only been going to Max for a couple years, so but it was like I literally get back to Oklahoma City, I like go home, I like take a shower, whatever. And like I get in the car and I go to Walmart and I run into Max, like of course, like the one time. And it's one of those things where it's like I'm talking to him and he keeps looking at my hair and then looking back at my eyes and then looking at my hair and then looking back at my eyes because he looked at and he's like, that's none of my guys did that shit. Yeah. And I was like,
Did you admit?
Oh yeah, and
at least you could say it was your sister,
right? I was like, my sister, she told me she wanted to cut my hair. Please don't hate me.
Nah, yeah, I never. One of my friends in college used to cut my hair, and then I found Kevin later, and that was it.
Yeah,
with him. So
yeah,
I'm huge on like you said, Kevin. Eventually, they become your friend, and so I'm big on supporting my friends in general.
Amen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Amen.
That's honestly a kind of part of the reason I started going to Zach for tattoos was I didn't actually even know him personally, but I was kind of starting to think about going through some more sessions and getting more work because it had been like 5 years since I'd gotten anything on my arm done, and it was you and Alyssa both started talking. I think you mentioned it to Alyssa, and then I heard from somebody, maybe Logan Fox at Norman. Hey, this guy Zach's been shopping with us. He's a tattoo artist. And I think we've got a number of tattoo artists, and I like always check out their work. Hey, if it fits me, I'd like to book an appointment. But you guys started bringing him up of like, yeah, he's becoming a regular. He shops with us, supports us. And I checked out his work. I was like, holy shit, dude, like that is crazy good work. And so I reached out and like got a consultation, booked an appointment because it was like, dude, like if you're shopping and supporting us, man, like I'd like to return the favor.
Right.
His tattoos are a little more expensive than our supplements, but it's like, dude, I at least want to go to somebody that's supporting us. So.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It's better than just somebody you don't know. You know what I mean? It's like you can get both. I think that is such a cool thing.
Right. That's like the one profession I've wanted, and I've never, as a client, but I've never gotten a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
If I had a tattoo artist, I'd be blasted.
It'd be bad. Yeah. No,
but I've never. That's the only like I feel like I've had every type of client you could have except for that one, man.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
That's the dream client as a trainer.
But yeah, dude, I was gonna say, but Kevin, I mean, he probably just works all day. I mean, I imagine because those sessions are what do you do full day sessions to them? Yeah, so.
Yeah, I'm not sure. He might have changed things up a little bit now, but when I first started booking with him, he did the smallest session you could do was a half day session. You had half day, full day, and 2 day sessions, and his rate's the cheapest at 2 days. And I was like, man, I really want to fill up my leg with your work, so let's do the cheapest rate. And those back to back sessions are a little rough.
Yeah,
because it's all day back to back.
Yeah, it's roughly. I mean, it goes like 10 hours sometimes.
Jeez, man.
Yeah. It is.
Do you know how many hours of tattoos you have now?
I want to say so. It's 11 full days, and like
yeah, you're well over 100 hours.
Yeah, that's. I was trying to get a little better estimate, but I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm over 100 hours. I'm just
you're definitely over 100 because I'm at like my all included. Like my leg and arm, I think I'm at like ballparking like probably like 145 or something like that. Yeah. Between my chest, my leg, and my arm, for sure.
That's when you really were getting a lot. It was when you became close friends with Joey.
Yeah.
That was a relationship that resulted in a lot of tattoos.
For a lot of people.
That was before you guys moved here, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's who. He did my sleeve and this leg, and then he did this sleeve on Kevin.
Yeah.
Joey. Jose Trent.
I want to start getting some more, but I just haven't. I am super picky after going. This arm is just kind of miscellaneous stuff from different artists. I don't know how many hours I have on this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I started getting, dude, I got my first 2 in high school. I was 17.
Dude, my first tattoo, I was 15 years old.
What?
Yeah. Some high quality parenting. Because my mom had to sign for it. And it was I had just turned 15. Like, it was like, I was 14 and my 15th birthday was coming up. And my mom was like, what do you want? And I was like, I want a tattoo. That's what I imagined I sounded like. I want a tattoo. And she was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so we went to the tattoo shop and she signed for it and everything.
Is it covered up or do you still have it?
No, I still have it. It's my... It's not my favorite tattoo. It's definitely my least favorite tattoo. But all things considered, it's not bad. I have like Italia on my back in like the Italian flag colors, and it's like a very college like boxy letters. And it's like that could have been so much worse.
If I would have gotten a tattoo at 15, it would be worse than what you have.
For sure. Yeah. And I don't get me wrong, I wanted something dumber. For sure. Like, I wanted it to say, like, Italia and then have, like, mud flap girls or something. I don't remember what I wanted, but it was something stupid.
I feel like there's something to be said for old tattoos, though. Like, I feel like it's harder to accept on yourself. But when I see on other people, it's like, I got this tattoo in prison or whatever. I'm like, dang, that's kind of like a cool...
That's the comparison.
Well, I'm trying to get the two spectrums, but like older, like obviously like not like as like the best quality you could possibly.
This is made with a cassette player and a piece of guitar string.
But yeah, I feel like it's like it's a cool, like it's an old tattoo. It's got a little bit of a story, shows a little bit of history, kind of deal. Yeah. So
it's not bad. I will probably cover it one day, but I also might not. Like, cause it's really not too bad. It could have been. Oh man. Left to my own devices. That's a good question. What would you have gotten? What do you think you'd have gotten at 15? What were you real into?
Something skateboard related and like real, like way too like trying to be badass.
Oh yeah, like it would have been like fake road rash or something.
Make it
look like I scarred up my arm.
I don't know if I would have got that, but it would not have been much better than something like that. I would like to. I actually have a buddy that I used to skate with that was always really big in art. He worked at a gym at night, and he would just get bored. So like the dude was jacked just because he would work out because he was bored, not because he really liked working out. But he also would just draw a ton. So anytime we'd ride to like a new spot or something, he'd have like this whole like notebook just of like different drawings that were crazy and they're really cool. But he eventually became a tattoo artist and is today. He did that after I moved away from St. Louis. So he's a tattoo artist today, and I would love to go get something like in his style. It's a really interesting style, but get something kind of skateboard related, but just like a little bit more unique. I feel like would be.
Yeah.
What do you think you would have gotten at 15?
Dude, considering it was only 2 years later. I went straight chest and I got a Bible verse, which it was one of my grandma showed me. So that wasn't too bad. Dude, man, at 15, it probably...
I'd been like, damn, check out this Digimon I got on my leg.
I was going to say, it probably would have been something like Halo related or
sick.
Or like the worst, it would have been like a Jumpman sign or something on my cap. Like, it would have been bad.
Yeah. Dude, the Halo one would be sick, like a battle rifle on your leg or something.
I will say that I was that dude because I had my sister's name. It was literally just my sister's name on my arm, kind of like in cursive. I found every reason to show it at like any type of sporting event. Freezing outside, I had like the tank top on.
Oh,
but it was bad.
Dude, when I got this, dude, let me tell you, I was killing it at the pool after that. I was killing it, dude.
Only 15-year-old with a tattoo.
I was going to say,
a 15-year-old with a tattoo and a mustache.
I was going to ask when you started growing facial hair. Because
4? When I was 4.
There were probably a lot of people questioning your age. Like, yo, how old is that kid?
Dude, no shit. I literally did have a full beard and mustache when I was in high school. I almost said middle school. Didn't have it in middle school. But I did have a full beard and mustache in high school, like freshman year of high school. And so I remember walking into freshman year of high school and one of the teachers thought that I was an assistant, what am I trying to say? Yeah, an assistant teacher, a substitute teacher. But yeah, they literally thought I was a substitute teacher, and I'm like, no.
That's hilarious.
I just hit puberty.
How old were you when you first passed for 21 to like buy a drink?
4.
Also.
No, I didn't ever, or to be honest, I never really tried to do that until like college, but then it was like no problem, like going to the bars and stuff. But did I feed some dip addictions in high school, because you only had to be 18 then to buy tobacco.
I forget you have to be 21 now.
I think
really?
Right.
Yeah.
You have to be 21 to buy cigarettes and like tobacco now.
I didn't even know that happened.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I didn't even know that
you,
happened.
so.
Right.
Yeah.
And but yeah, when I was like 16 years old, like I was buying dip for everybody because they would pay me like twice as much as it costs. So
I've got a buddy, Tim Feldman. I don't know what his genetics are, but he's really interesting. The way he looks right now is the same way he looked when he was 13 years old. And he doesn't look like he's like overly old or like a lot of facial hair or anything. It's just like whatever it is, like he like grew really fast and like and became a man at 13 years old.
Just stayed there.
Dude, I'm pretty sure we had because we skateboarded, there was a wide range in like ages that hung out together. And I'm pretty sure it was when he was 13, they snuck him into a bar and they got drinks. His nickname was Man-Child.
yeah,
That's crazy.
he still is.
He still is the Man-Child.
Still is a man-child.
I didn't have an urge to like sneak into bars or anything like that. I just didn't even mess with it. Yeah.
Not at 13, me neither.
Yeah, no, I didn't even. No, I wasn't even thinking about it. But no, I think I feel like I got ID'd every time until I got like a full beard, which that didn't even happen until I was probably like 23, 24.
Yeah,
if that. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's so weird. Yeah, man. My peach fuzz started turning real young. Real young. I was like middle school. I had like one of those like real, you like
Dirt
mustache
stash.
was, it was like real thing. And I was like, yeah. And then my mom would be like, no, you don't. And I'd be like, no, I do. And it's cool. And she'd be like, no, you don't. And then like later in life, she's like, yeah, you did. I just didn't want you to feel bad about it. And I'm like, what?
my mom hates my beard. So that actually me trimming it down, she's super happy now. But yeah, she usually hates it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Laurel has told me that she'll kill me if I ever shave my beard. Not those words exactly, but I've seen the look in her eye when she says it. It looks like
she doesn't have to say it.
Yeah, she goes, oh, you would shave your beard?
I feel like it's more common, like more guys have beards than without beards these days.
Yeah.
I've rocked a beard for a long time. That picture I sent in the group of you and I from college, the one I sent the other night, that was like one of the, like Laurel was like looking at the picture. I didn't even realize that it's a picture of me without a beard. And I was like, oh yeah. She's like, it doesn't even look like you. And I'm like, well, yeah, like
10 years ago.
Yeah. Dude, 11.
No. Wait.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Because it was early college.
No, it's college. Yeah, it wouldn't have been 11 years. Well,
it might have been.
It might have been.
It might have been.
It might have been, dude. Oh no, I think it was because that would have been 2013, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it was either because it popped up on my like Facebook like time hop, and it was either 10 or 11 years ago, dude.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I think it was 2012 or 13, I believe.
Yeah,
I think it was 13. I think it was 13. Holy shit.
Yeah, because that fun time. Chad, how old are you?
31. I just turned 31 in September.
See?
Yeah, dude.
I was geezer.
I was checking
like
the mirror today. I have like grays everywhere.
Yeah,
man.
I call mine laurels.
Yeah.
You got Sarah's in there?
He says old geezer. He's 32. We're young and spry at 30. I'm 31 too. So don't let him group us into this old geezer.
You know, you fellers.
I definitely drove to the gym with my seat warmers on just to do back today. So now I'm old.
An underrated thing.
Yeah, I'm getting old.
I love it. We get in Laurel's car and I'm like, oh yeah. And she'd be like, it's hot out. And I'd be like, I know, but it feels good.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
Yeah.
Just some icy hot.
Oh, dude, that's wild.
But yeah, I didn't realize that you were older than me until this probably maybe it was when you were at the Norman store though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a couple of years ago, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I'm the oldest on staff.
Yeah.
For us.
Mm-hmm.
You're second, right?
I don't really start to feel old until like whenever I was training in person, I would ask a client like if they had seen a movie or something, and they'd be like, "No, I haven't seen that." I'm like, wait, when were you born? And they'd be like, oh, 2000. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that's a tough one. We've got a when was Ramsey born? 2000 and
is he 18 now or is he still 17?
I don't know, one of the two.
It's
so what, like 2006?
Yeah, that's
2006
crazy.
or 2007. We have an employee.
Oh man,
bro. Mm-hmm. I think it's 2007 because I remember telling him that like I was a sophomore in high school.
Yeah, like we were able to drive when he was born.
Yeah, like I could be his dad.
Yeah,
that's
like, I could be his dad for sure. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then if they're my guy clients that were that young, they usually just remind me of my little brother, so I can connect with them a little bit easier. Yeah. But yeah, whenever it's my female clients that are that young, I'm like, I don't even know what you guys are into. Like,
right?
Yeah.
Well,
so,
what do you guys do?
Yeah, because that's usually whenever I'm working with clients or athletes, I really try to find what they're into, so they don't feel like they're having to like drive a conversation or work with me in any way. I can just keep it going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, and it's smart because then you don't have to talk about working out the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Which I hate whenever I go, like if we go to an event or something that has nothing to do with fitness, and then Sarah just leaves me there and some guy finds out I'm a personal trainer.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, dude, I could spot you from across the room and I'd be like, well, that guy wants to talk about working out.
It's the worst. Yeah. It's
the story I was telling. It's so funny because I just like, I get it to an extent, and I feel bad about it. Not in this situation, but in other situations I feel bad about it where like, because sometimes customers, like, understandably so, and I feel bad in that situation where it's like they come in and will sometimes feel like we're the workout police or like the fitness police, and like they come in and they can be, I've literally had customers be like apologetic about like maybe not having gone to the gym or not being as good a shape as they were last time I saw them, and I'm like, whoa, man, like we all go through like ebbs and flows of this. Like I promise you, like, bro, I've been 50 pounds heavier than I am working at a supplement store. Like it happens, man. Like we all go through it. Like, so like, no, it's not a big deal at all. And it's like, you can tell that they are like, you know, they feel almost, you know, like self-conscious or something about it. And I'm like, man, like I it makes me sad that you feel this way, that you feel like I'm judging you. Cause I promise you I'm not. Like, man, I wasn't going to burn, you know, like do we talk about anything, man? Yeah. But the situation that makes me laugh, that like this lady that lives in Laurel and I's apartment building, she is the like when you go in the entrance, I go in, she's the first door that you pass. And so I always manage to like bump into her as she's like walking out or walking in. And sometimes, because she's a human being, we'll have like a pizza box, right? And she'll look at me and like start explaining herself to me. And I'm like, lady, like for lack of a better term, I don't give a shit that you're eating pizza. Like, do you have any more? I'll take a slice. I'm hungry, you know? But it's like, it's so funny because, and like, bless her heart, but every time she sees me, she's like, and I get it. It's like trying to find like a common ground or something to talk about. She's like, oh, you know, I've been doing this at the gym. Okay, cool, you know? And it's like, but every single time I see her, and like the funniest time was the lady that lives across the hall from us, she works at some museum, and I guess they had like some big event, and after the event, all the employees got to take home like whatever beer was left. And she's like, Thomas, I have a fridge full of beer. Can you please like come take some of them? Like just whatever you want. Like come. She literally, and we opened her fridge. She had like 100 cans of beer in there, and I'm like, Laurel and I do not drink hardly at all. So like, sure, whatever. I'll take some of these. Funny enough, we ended up just taking them to another party and just leaving them. So that's the
traveling beers.
The traveling beers, right? But what's so funny was the lady that I was talking about. She was walking around and she was just like handing out like little mini muffins or whatever. And I come walking out of like across the hall with like 15 beers in my hand. And she's like, what do you do? Why do you have those? And I'm like, what? Oh yeah. Like, you know, I can't think of her name. What's her name was like, she didn't, you know, she's just handing them out. And she's like, what? And I'm like, what? And she's like, well, I'm handing out mini muffins. You wouldn't want one of those. And I'm like, bullshit. I want one of those muffins. Let me have one. But it's just so funny because like I get it. You know what I mean? And I've had it too. And I know you've had it too, where it's like, like people see you and they're just like, oh yeah, like there's a guy who like clearly works out. Like I'm going to go and talk to him about working out because it's like an obvious like thing that I can just spot. But it's like there is a point where like, man, talking to your tattoo artist has the same conversation about being a tattoo artist every day of his life. He probably wants to talk about anything else.
Yeah, dude, and for him to sit with one person that long, man,
the same like. So how long you been tattooing?
And that's one of the reasons I wanted to start showing more of my. This is way left, but showing more of myself on like social media and stuff like that is just because I got tired of just seeing fitness all day and then hearing it. So it's like,
right,
bro, I'm into way like more things than just this. So
I think it was Thomas that pointed out at one point being active on your personal social media and showing not just like, you know, for me, not just supplements or working out, which is obviously a little different, but very related, is, hey, show some of the bourbons that you like, show, some old hunting pictures, like show, when we go out and golf, like, take a video of that. It's like, and I think people that maybe see or like that even also work out, they go to the gym and like everybody's also working out. They go to the supplement store, everybody's also taking supplements. They see, oh, this guy, he plays golf. Like, well, I really like golf. Like we've got something that's a little bit more unique in common, and there's a little bit more of a connection that way. So I think there are genuine benefits to showing like who you are as a person in all facets.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like in all of our professions, or because we're so closely related to fitness, that it's easy for people to think that we're just machines. And like she said, like, she just kind of, without even getting to know you, assumed that you wouldn't want those things or be into those things. But yeah, man, I feel like, especially you, Kevin, like the way you eat is like super robotic, but I mean,
say that again, a little louder.
We all enjoy, like, that's my problem. If it wasn't for fitness and stuff, I know it'd be like crumble and pizza, and dude, I can, I can put on weight quick. Which it wasn't like that. I turned 30 and now it's just.
But that's what's funny is that is something that we use a lot in the store, or like I train or coach a lot with our employees, is like being vulnerable in the store to customers can be huge because they automatically assume that you are the robot. They automatically assume that like you don't struggle with this. So it's like, as soon as like you can disarm or like show somebody some vulnerability of like, listen, I struggle with this too. Like I'll tell people, like we'll talk about how difficult it can be, if you don't prepare or like don't have things ready to go, because then you're starving and you're driving home, and then it's like, you're driving through a fast food restaurant. And like, that's one of the big things that I like have helped a lot of people that are trying to lose weight, is having like easy items that you can get from places that are open at obscure times, that are, in a red, yellow, green system, that are yellows, right? When it's like, having something, hey, you and your kids are leaving the basketball game and they want burgers and they're screaming and you're like, what am I going to do? Right? Well, guess what? Brahms has grilled chicken sandwiches. And it's like, that's really not a bad thing. Like, all things considered, compared to what you could be getting, that is a victory in most situations. So it's like having some Qdoba, Chipotle, like Kava, there are places that you can make like really solid meals in a pinch if you need to, and like having and being prepared with those. And like, one of my favorite things is like, I'll be like, like, we're really blessed with the fact that Whataburger will make you a grilled chicken sandwich like 24/7, 365.
I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, dude. I've had them, like, it'd be 2:00 in the morning and I'm starving for whatever reason, I'm out doing shenanigans, and like and it's like, they'll make you a grilled chicken sandwich. But I'm always like, that's a whole lot better than me getting a double bacon Whataburger with onion rings and a Dr. Pepper shake, because that's what I really want, and that is what I get every other time. You know what I mean?
Is that like, Dr. Pepper shake good?
Yeah, it's fire.
Yeah, it's good.
I've never had it.
Oh, it's good.
It's like a milkshake.
Yeah.
Like any type of float you could. I've tried it for sure. But like just growing up, like, dude, growing up, we'd have vanilla ice cream and just like whatever soda I had was like, man, I'm trying it. Yeah.
Why not? Why not? It's all good.
Alyssa's been on a big root beer float kick because we've got sugar-free root beer at home.
Yeah.
And they're primarily now just for root beer floats. So she'll do a little bowl with a little vanilla ice cream and then sugar-free root beer on top of it.
I've never tried that.
It's pretty good.
You can mess around.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is it's like, and it's always funny because, and I can always kind of disarm the situation of being like, and oh, by the way, that order was that specific because it's what I get. Like that double bacon burger is what I get. Like I eat fast food sometimes, you know what I mean? And it's like just allowing somebody to know that like, bro, I'm far from perfect on this. In fact, like I'm not great sometimes for extended periods of time, but it's like, you know, it's about finding, you know, things that you can do or finding like I said, like the kids want burgers. Well, like you can find good decisions to be made, or at least better decisions than just like, okay, well, if they want burgers, I guess I'm getting crap too. You know what I mean? Like there's ways around it, and it doesn't have to be a salad from Pizza Hut. That's probably terrible. You know what I mean? Like there's better options and things that you can do.
I feel like a lot of times people don't think that they don't even understand that they have that autonomy in certain situations to be able to make a decision like that on the fly. And a lot of people are either it's just all or nothing. If they can't have what they're supposed to have, they just throw it all. And then those same ones that they struggle to just pick back up where they left off the next day. And that's where it's just slippery slope just starts.
Oh yeah. And
that's where I try to teach. I try to educate all the clients or athletes I have on that autonomy and like how to swap foods and things like that. And they can see all their macros right next to the meal plan that way. And I encourage like, hey, if you're out, just make a swap and just make sure these numbers match the best you can. Right. You're not always going to be perfect, but at least you tried. Like, I just want to see the effort. Yeah.
Right.
Versus you just skipping it.
My experience with that is obviously I do follow just pretty much prep meals all the time. It's just for a handful of reasons, like a big one being like it's I am a robot. It's easy just to not have to think about my food. It's just always ready to go. We prep it. It is what it is. Like it's one less thing I have to worry about throughout my days. And then I can stay on obviously a very healthy plan. But when I go out of town, if I'm like prepping for a show, I'm going to bring my meals with me and I'm going to follow exactly what I need to do. But when I go out of town, like now, and I'm not getting ready to compete for anything, it's very much of like, I don't want to bring my food with me. That's such a hassle, especially for flying. You know, I'm not gonna worry about eating my prep food. But when I first started doing that, it was like, okay, I get this next 3 days where I get to eat whatever I want, and I would just eat junk for 3 days, and I'd feel like crap. So you'd be on vacation or like be back home with family, and I would just feel like crap the whole time. So then I was like, all right, like I'm not gonna stop myself from eating. I'm also anything. But I'm not going to bring my food. I'm going to find like a nice, like, I'm just going to eat like intuitively and just eat what I know I'll enjoy it, but I'm also going to feel good with it.
Yeah.
So.
You're not going to feel terrible.
Yeah.
Cause it's great, dude. That sometimes that stuff will surprise you too. Cause like Laurel being back on, you know, Laurel's working with Chad. If you didn't know, Laurel's working with Chad again.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
Getting ready for the wedding and stuff. And she had sometimes for work, if they do really well, they got this thing called Winter Circle where they get to go and eat at Mahogany, right? And so it's like, who's turning down Mahogany? And so she went to Mahogany and she got like the most basic stuff that she could get, like just trying to stay on. She did a really good job of like trying to stay, like we're saying, like, okay, like let's morph this into like what you're trying to do. And so she got a bison steak and like asparagus or something like that was like what she got, and it tore her up. Because she just like, you know, like she's been very particular in what she's getting, and then it's like she threw a wrench in there, even though it wasn't like anything crazy, but it was like, you know, like a steakhouse, like of course, you know, you're seeing this, but you're not seeing everything that they're like, you know, they're probably like a half a pound of butter or something that they like cook that thing in, and she's like, okay, I'm doing good, and then she's like, oh, my stomach hurts so bad. I'm like, Dude, that will catch you off guard how much, like, when you're on like good food going to something that's not, it will wreck you.
Yeah, and dude, for me nowadays, like even a cheat meal for me, oftentimes it's number one is usually sushi, but it's typically just going to like Cheesecake Factory or a steakhouse and getting a steak, a potato, and asparagus. Like literally, it's pretty sad, but because I just follow Cameron's meal plan, which is so I don't have to think.
Right.
It's not on my plan. So to me, it's a cheat meal. Like, and they cook a steak better than I can. So,
Yeah.
I just do that.
Okay, not to bring up my sandwich argument again, but like
I knew this was coming.
So I don't know if you've heard, but we've argued about whether sandwiches are a cheat meal on this podcast a lot. That's neither here nor there. But that's a big reason, like, especially on a regular basis, I'll do like 2 cheat meals a week, especially if I'm not trying to cut or do anything specific. It's just like 2 cheat meals a week. And I got tired of like, if we got like burger and fries, pizza, whatever it is, like I'd spend the whole next day almost feeling hungover. And it's like, man, like a sandwich sounds pretty good. Like, honestly, like that's not chicken and rice. That sounds delicious. I'm just going to do that. So
like, is it just a homemade sandwich?
Sometimes. So I'll do like a Jimmy John's.
Chad here. You're losing Chad.
Not a sandwich fan. That's fine.
Well, no, it's not about being a sandwich fan. You lost him at a homemade sandwich.
Okay. All right. When I do a homemade sandwich, here's what it is.
Here we go.
It's I do like a nice Italian bread.
Wow.
I do some nice shaved turkey.
Yeah,
that's nice.
I do spread avocado on one side.
Oh.
I do cream cheese on the other side. Wow. I throw some bacon on there, some lettuce, and a little Chipotle Southwest sauce.
Wow.
It is. If you've never tried a sandwich like that,
we've had sandwiches like that. The point, this is the argument's going to start again.
You're starting it. I'm just.
No, you brought this up. You knew what you were doing. The point is like, yes, you were having a very adventurous sandwich there. I get it. It's a good sandwich. There's nothing wrong with that. The point is that in most people's psychology, they don't think of a homemade sandwich as a cheat meal. It is like, it's not to say, and I get to you that it is because it is off of your plan, but it is it's a funny thing when you bring it up because
relative. Okay, I can understand.
Right. It's just, but it's funny when you like bring up a relative thing. Like this is the equivalent of being like, guys, I went out drinking last night, right? And we're like, oh my gosh, Kevin, you never drink. What did you have? And you'd be like, I had 2 sips of an apple martini. And we'd be like, wow, you went crazy, didn't you, dude?
I think I might be hungover.
Yeah, right. And we're like, okay, like, sure. Is that more than usual? Yes. But that is like when most people
average person.
The most people think like the average person, like going out drinking, they're like, I'm gonna have like 6 Vegas bombs. You know what I mean? Like that's where it's just a little different. And why it is funny, because then you're like, no, listen to this appletini. So you got the apple, right? But not just any apple. And then, boy, the teeny. Let me tell you what I put in this.
They're not using, what do they use? Vodka and apple teeny? Yeah. They're not using just well vodka. Yeah. And you're like, it's 100 proof.
We're like, wait, did you go out or did you make this apple teeny at home? And you're like, made it at home.
I'm just like,
oh, damn.
Whenever you said sandwich, I was definitely thinking of like something crazier than that. Yeah. Mine would be Jimmy John's, but that usually just KOs me. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, really?
Right.
Yeah.
But I get it. Like I've been there. I've been there where like, I think I tread the line like good enough now where it's like my nutrition is like just good enough that the healthy food doesn't hurt my stomach and just bad enough that the bad food doesn't hurt my stomach. So like I'm just shooting that lane like right down the middle right now. But yeah, I've been there. I've been like when we were in college, I went through like about a quarter to a half of a prep. And even that of like, a couple of months of like just eating what I was supposed to eat at all times. And then I don't remember what it was, but I'd gotten hurt and I had to like drop out. And I think I got like a McDouble. And like, bro, if I don't tell you, like, I lived 10 minutes away from that McDonald's and halfway back the drive, I am like keeled over in my car, like It's crazy, dude. That is a bad feeling.
That's something that I've learned since working with Cameron, is trying to have a way more diverse diet, even when following the meal plan, just making sure you have different types of sources for each, whatever protein, carbon, fat. For sure. And dude, and actually thinking back, not to put Laurel in this or whatever, but dude, thinking back to working with her, dude, she just naturally has a super sensitive stomach. In general.
Hot girls got tummy issues.
I start to pick up on those things, with each athlete. But there's certain, dude, for me, the one thing that will just mess me up is Sonic ice cream. I have no idea why.
Bro, Sonic anything besides just like a soda. Dude, I have gotten some basic stuff from Sonic and it murders me.
And growing up, that was all we had, unfortunately. It's bad.
When I was a kid and like I would eat fast food a little bit more frequently, like, a couple of times a week. I remember, I could eat, burger from McDonald's be fine, burger from really wherever be fine, but a burger from Burger King would always mess me up. I don't know why.
That's why it is weird how like certain things like that, man, will just like, because I have, again, like, dude, we'll be going, that is like my nightmare. Like one time we were like going hiking or something somewhere, and like they were like, oh, we're hungry, let's just grab something to eat real quick, and they're like, oh, there's a Sonic right over here, and I'm like, nah, dog. Not for me, man. And like, I'm like, I'm starving, and I'm like debating eating this, but like a tater tot from Sonic will just like, dude, will murder my insides. Yeah, I don't know what it is, man.
So I'll go get you.
There has to be it can't be, like, I don't think it's a quality thing, because like why would I be able to go somewhere else?
With Sonic.
Yeah, like there has to be something that they're like cooking things in that I just don't do well with.
Right. Just sensitive for you.
Shout out Sonic, local company.
Kev, you said you've done a couple preps. When you did these preps, were you dating or already married to Alyssa when you were doing that?
Yeah, I was with Alyssa both times, which is probably why I saw at least any success at all, is because she was helping out with a lot of meal prep. My first one was in 2017, I think. Maybe 2016. I think 2016.
Yeah. That was when I did my first one.
Oh, was it really? Yeah. Did you do bodybuilding or physique? Or?
It was classic physique.
Classic.
Then,
Okay.
Which I don't even know when classic physique really actually started, but
it was like right around
yeah, it was fairly new. It was back when we still had to have a hand open. I called it the Daniel and Bailey hand. But we actually had to have that open. Yeah. But the reason I was asking that question was because, did she eat the same foods as you at the time, or did she kind of like just eat whatever? Yeah,
she ate whatever. Oh yeah, she would eat right in front of me too.
Yeah, my son.
I remember one time it was the 2019 prep, and I was writing my own diet, and I was being extremely strict. So it was a little different than my first prep, and I was very depleted at this point in time. Like, or it was like taking like way too much energy just to stand up off a chair. And we went to, and I was dealing with cravings. Like I was like, I would kill just for more rice in my meal. And
I remember you like eyes rolling in the back of your head eating a grapefruit one time.
That was a good grapefruit. But yeah, I remember we went, it was a week of the fair. So we went to the fair for something to do. And we had a buddy that did an art piece there. So we were there, Zach. And yeah, shout out Step Back Zach.
Did you see that he just got...
I followed him because of you guys. Yeah.
Did you see he just got a shout out at the Thunder Hand?
That was crazy. That thing looked dope.
Dude,
he used to work here.
Jersey, got everything. Super dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zach.
Yeah, he's killing it.
Dude, he is.
But yeah, he worked for us in 2019, I believe. Yeah. Real cool dude. But yeah, we were going to see one of his pieces at the fair, and
I remember that.
Alyssa was like, oh yeah, I'll just get food while we're there. And she got a cinnamon roll, and she made me hold it and carry it back to the picnic table for her.
Yo, I'm not going to even lie. I'm kind of bad about this too. So not to give away my food prep secret, but I'm going to give away one of my food prep secrets. So the thing to do is the restaurant BJ's. You ever been to BJ's? So BJ's is bomb, by the way. But BJ's does family meals, right? So you can get them like to go family meal. and I actually just picked mine up today, but it is 18 ounces of sliced tri-tip, like steak. So 18 ounces of steak already sliced for you. They typically give you somewhere between like 12 to like 15 ounces of sliced chicken. It's not the thing of broccoli is you probably get about like 4 cups of cooked broccoli, and then they probably give you like 4 cups of cooked rice, and all of that sliced, whatever, packaged and brought out to your car is $55.
That's crazy,
bro. It preps like 6 solid meals for me for like $55 that I don't have to cook a piece of it, and it's already pre-sliced and everything, and it's and it comes with a piece, and it comes with a big old dinner salad too, like a massive dinner salad that like I'll eat 6 times. Like, it's huge. So I ended up getting a salad, broccoli, rice, steak, and chicken for like 6 or 7 meals for like $55.
Dude, Kevin, that first prep that I was telling you about in 2016, I actually got the whole prep. I went to Chipotle, and I would get Dude, I was getting like maybe 48 to like 50 ounces of steak. They had a number that they wouldn't go below. And I was getting like, it was like above 40 ounces of steak. It was already sliced. Yeah. And I would just get that every Sunday, and it would last me through the week.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Like,
Alyssa was doing that. It was getting catering Chipotle for a little bit.
I've done that too. It's really not that bad of a deal if you don't want to have to cook it.
Yeah.
But here's where the problem is, and here's where I'm kind of a jerk. Sorry, Laurel. I love you. You love my life. The problem is BJ's has bomb pizza, right?
No, they do. Yeah.
They do. But the deal is if you order one of those family meals, they give you a deal where you get a large pizza, any of the large pizzas that they offer, which are normally like $30, $35 for $12. So on top of your food prep, they will give you your cheat meal.
Yeah.
Right? So they'll throw in a like $12 large pizza. So I come home like last week with like my food prep, right? And a big old barbecue chicken pizza. And Laurel walks out of the bedroom as I'm like containering all my like steak and chicken and stuff. And she looks at it and she goes, "That looks so good." And I'm like, "Sorry, can't have any." Yeah. Whoops. My bad.
Chad, what's your go-to cheat meal when like you finally get one like after a prep or a long period of dieting?
Dude, the more frequent ones are probably sushi, because I just kind of consider them refeeds. But if it's a legit free meal like that, man, it was cheesecake after my show. That's what I did. And I got a ton. I got like their celebration cheesecake. That's when my stomach was like, "Damn, son, like you messed up."
Because do you know how many calories is in a slice of that?
Dude, I didn't even look.
I think it's something crazy. Like
I don't know if I want to know.
Yeah, I didn't want to look. Yeah, I looked at crumble one time and I was like, "Oh God."
Dude, I'm pretty sure like the celebration cheesecake at Cheesecake Factory, which a slice is like, it's a big old piece. But dude, I'm pretty sure it's like 2,300 calories or something like that.
Yeah, and the problem with me is like most times I'm gonna clean my plate of whatever it is. So yeah, I ate every bit of that for sure.
Dude, Alyssa, so we actually did a cheat meal last night. It actually messed me up quite a bit in the middle of the night because we've been waking up with a baby and whatnot. And there's a couple of times where Alyssa, like, we both wake up to her crying, and Alyssa would be like, "Hey, can you take her?" I'm like, "I can take her, but I got to poop real quick." We did Empire Pizza, and she made this dessert that she saw on Instagram that was brownies, chocolate chip cookies, and cheesecake all mixed together. Yo. And it was pretty good.
Dude, was it like a stack?
It was kind of a stack, but like, because it's like, I think all three were like very different consistencies. It was kind of also just kind of mixed. So it's like different pieces. Like, you could take one bite that was like mostly brownie with a little cheesecake, and the next one would be like mostly cookie with a little brownie and cheesecake kind of deal. So
dang, that would be crazy. That'd be like heaven. You put like some vanilla ice cream with that?
I should have brought some, because the thing is, she had to buy a whole batch of chocolate chip cookies, make a whole batch of cheesecake, and a whole batch of brownies. So there's like 2 trays worth of this stuff that's like 2 inches thick at our house now, that I'm like, We didn't. It was like pretty fresh when I ate it too, and it's been sitting in the fridge for a little bit, so that cheesecake's getting a little colder.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have that for my next cheat meal. So
there you go.
Yeah, I'll bring if we got some extras, I'll bring some to Norman and leave it there for it. Yeah,
I usually stop by like every other day. I feel like I literally have to go back because I bought the wrong thing today. So.
We do see your online orders come through sometimes. Your in-store pickup ones. So.
Typically, they're the wrong location. A lot of times, it's Sarah's fault too. Like I'll get there and she's talking to me as I make the order, and then I just mess up.
All right, yeah, that is something girls need to understand. Guys,
listen up, women out there listening to this podcast. Kevin's got something you need to know. Take it away, Kevin. You have my mic too.
Us as males are not great at multitasking. No. I guess I can't speak for all of us, but I am terrible at it. If I need to listen to something and do something at the same time, forget it. I'm going to do one and I'm going to do the other one terribly.
I can either do that or listen to you. What do you want?
No, I always try to multitask, but I like at some point halfway through, I'm like, dude, you just operate faster if you just picked one of these and kept moving and then come back.
Yeah. Well, it's always funny because like Laurel will be like, I'll be doing something. She'll also be doing something like in my like where I'm doing something and talking to me and like trying to squeeze around me, and she's like, why can't you do it? And I'm like, how am I supposed to like there's 7 things going on, like you're not paying attention to anything that I'm doing, you're just focusing on your own stuff. And like, yeah, I get it. I can't multitask all of this.
You can't multitask.
Us guys, we just can't.
Us guys, we just can't do it.
No,
not born to do it.
Yeah, girls are better at it though.
Yeah.
That's But that's why Alyssa plays 2 roles here. So essentially, if she quit, we'd have to hire 2 to 3 more people. So
I was talking to Preston today when I went in to pick up my order. I was like, "How does that even work? The system?" And he was like, "Oh, Alyssa just texts us when it comes through."
Yeah,
yeah, right.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, she's quick about it too, man.
Yeah, she's always on it.
Yeah, she's super quick. I'm so bad about stuff like that sometimes. Like, I'll be like, you texted me when? It'd be like 6 hours ago. I'll be like, shit, I've been on my phone. How did I miss that?
That's why Thomas doesn't take your orders.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know what I'm good at.
Dude, I'm just as bad. I think you and I were talking about this, and it was like what should have been like a 5-minute conversation was like a span of 4 days, and it was only like 4 texts.
Yeah. That is how it goes sometimes. It was like I text somebody, and then it's like but with that, I never hate on anybody that takes a long time to text me back. It'll be like 24 hours, somebody will text me back, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to text them back. They just responded. Nope.
That used to kind of stress me out, but until I've adopted this new mindset of like, I'm going to text you this thing and like give you information to get this ball rolling. And as long as it's not something that I like desperately need, if I never hear back from you, I will completely forget.
Yeah.
I'm going to text it. It's out there in the universe. If it comes back, we'll deal with it. If not, I will forget about it.
Yeah. I'm pretty good about like, if you text me something, I probably at least saw it. Even if I didn't respond, I probably at least got the information. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I'm not always great about like responding to certain things, but like I usually get it.
Honestly, the fact that on iPhones now you can unread text messages, best update feature they've ever added.
They needed that years ago.
Alyssa's been talking about that for a long time because you could do it on like Instagram or Facebook or whatever for a while now.
Yeah.
Until you ever seen Kaylin's phone?
No.
You know how many unread text messages she has? Because she does that because she doesn't want to miss text messages.
Yeah.
Bro, last time I was roasting her about this, I'm not kidding when I say it was like 154 text messages.
What?
She's like, I'll just get back to it. Girl, you got a mountain that is probably like looming behind her. She just feels like this pressure.
I feel like...
And I was like, no wonder you never see the text in the group. Like, no wonder you're always the last person to like thumb something up. Because like you got 155 other unread text messages.
Maybe like just finish your day, just like end your day and finish, like wrap that up, like get through all those and then go to bed.
I'm the worst because
It's too much logic.
Before I had to wake up so early, so a lot of my like conversing was done at like 4 and 5 a.m. and I feel terrible. But with the athletes, we communicate through WhatsApp, so I don't care. I just text them.
Yeah, here it is.
Yeah, but and that's, dude, that can give me. It doesn't, as long as it's work, it doesn't really give me anxiety. But if like, because WhatsApp, some mornings I'll wake up and have like 60 messages because of check-ins and photos and questions. But if those are text messages, oh yeah, I'm stressing. Like I get anxiety when I see that. Yeah, and it's just some group chat with like my little brother and mom. Like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, dude, how many group chats do you think exist with like professional ones? I say professional, but like ones that are like not just like BS ones, but ones that were actually made for the companies. How many group chats do you think exist within our like the triad defined like space?
I think I'm personally in like a dozen.
That's crazy.
For sure.
Yeah. And there's a bunch without me.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Because there's a bunch. But it is for us, it's like the best way to like direct information to where, because the problem is our main group chat now has 16 people in it.
Yeah.
It's got 16 people in it. And so somebody sends something, just silly or like having fun with it, and it just, and then there's 70 text messages in there. And the problem is like something that might have been important gets lost and buried fast. And so it's like we had to start doing like individual like groups that just refer to like other things. So like each store has its own group chats, or like, so we have 2 different group chats for Yukon. And then like we've got a managers group. We've got the managers group with you. Like we've got one without Kevin, one with Kevin. That's the one we make fun of him. The one that he's in. But we have managers and mom, which is Alyssa and the managers. We've got
gray sideburns.
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh yeah,
Kevin's gray sideburns is. There a lot of them are named kind of silly things, but Kevin's gray sideburns is just the managers without Kevin. So that's where we talk about like stressful things that we know will give Kevin more gray hair. So we just deal with it without him.
Helps me.
He appreciates it.
I've got a lot less gray hair.
Yeah. And then like, but there's a ton. Yeah, no, you're right. There has to be, oh man. Yeah. There's easily a dozen between like everything, if not more.
I did have, I don't know why he asked, but I think one of the funniest groups that we have that doesn't get used a whole lot anymore, but when you, Preston, and I worked together in Norman.
What's that one?
I'll get to it. So it was the 3 of us that were, it was the 3 of us in Norman and not really anybody else at the time. So, and that was for about a year.
Yeah, it's a Norman group chat, essentially.
And I think there was one point in time where you named the group something funny, and then Preston renamed it. And the fact that Preston is the one that renamed this is the funniest part of it, but it's just called My Gay Dads. I texted in that the other day for whatever reason, and I can't remember why I even told Ian about it. And for whatever reason, he's like, "Oh, what's that? What's the name of that group chat?" And I'm like, "Why would you ask that?"
You never ask, but you happen to ask this one. That's so funny. That's so funny. We back when Will was working with us, because we always used to make fun of Will because Will gets big time bodybuilder and he's getting bigger, but he'd like, his neck gets real thick and he gets what we call awake apnea, where he can't breathe fully while he's like awake,
fully awake.
Yeah. So the Yukon group. So we got like a Yukon group that has like everybody, like Kevin, Alyssa, Ryan, like people who might just be involved in whatever. And then we have like a small Yukon group, which is just like myself and the employees for stuff that like we don't need to bother them with, or just whatever, just so their phone's not going off for no reason for information they don't need. But for the longest time, that group chat was called the Sleep Apnea Prayer Group. Oh man, that's so funny. But yeah, but it's just crazy to think about. Like, gosh, there's so many. But it's a system that works for us, at least for now, where it's like where information can be readily found, like passed along, sent to the people that it needs to be sent to, and then kind of move past it. Because if you try to do it all in one place, it can be a mess.
Yeah,
that's why I like to keep all of my athlete communications through WhatsApp too. Anything coaching related, we just keep it there.
Yeah.
It makes everything way easier.
That's what I've heard. I've never used WhatsApp before, but I've heard that it's good for stuff like that.
I've got a couple of friend groups that are in there, like old friend, like college friend. Like my pledge class has a WhatsApp group, so it's nice because like I don't have I can get in there every once in a while, and it's usually dumb stuff. But yeah,
your pledge class.
I don't wake up to a dozen text messages. It's all just nonsense. So, but I can get there every once in a while if I got some free time. So
yeah.
Deal. So
speaking of which, you kind of brought it up, but for anybody who doesn't know, and something I should have done whenever we introduced you is you are one of our newest, not as new now, but you're one of our newest Define ambassadors.
Yeah,
which super cool, man. We're super stoked about that.
That's been fun. But I want to say also congratulations to you guys. Brought on like 4 the other day. It was, or I don't know if they'd already been on, but yeah, there was like, it looked like
we
4.
announced it officially. The other day.
So congrats to the new guys. But it's been what I feel like was just long overdue, probably. But yeah, I didn't even know how to initiate that conversation. And Preston and I always talked about it, but with me being with BPN originally, I just never even knew how to entertain it.
And I felt like, like where you were at, especially with BPN and like in, different, and you're with like your Morphogen and stuff now too. But it is like, we had to kind of get to a point where it also like, where we had enough to offer in certain aspects when it came to like products and different things, like because there's a lot that you recommend to your clients and a lot that you take yourself, where it's like, if you're going to sign on, like obviously you like us and you're friends with us, but like we also have to be a brand that can offer the things that you need to have offered as well.
At one point in time, Define Nutrition was 3 SKUs.
Yeah, so exactly. And so that's not going to make sense, where it's like, but now we've kind of we've gotten to a point now where we've got enough stuff and different things and new stuff coming out, all the time, where it was a time that made sense. And we've been Preston and I have been talking about that for a long time.
I feel like I'm big on manifestation. I don't know if you guys believe in that or what, but like oftentimes I even post stuff just on my story or whatever it is, just to kind of put it into existence. But I would tell Sarah all the time, like, if there was any other company, it'd be Define. Like I would always say that as you guys grew. So I'm super happy to just be a part of it as you guys are growing. Because I get to see, I get to see it from the ground up, and that's what I just love, the process of everything, and knowing you guys so well, and knowing how much effort and thought you guys put into everything. Yeah, it makes it even more worthwhile.
I mean, every time you go to pick up your order, I guess, maybe not every time, but a lot of times you get to see the head formulator of Define Nutrition,
right. And then and actually that's what drove me to want to be a part of it too, because I can hit Preston directly anytime with a client question or my own personal question.
Sure.
Or even input, man. Like, he's always looking for, what ingredients people are liking, what ingredients people are recommending, what types of products are gaining more popularity, what types of things are people recommending to their clients. And so, dude, if you ever have anything in particular, they're like, that'd be cool, just put a bug in Preston's ear, and I bet it'll go a longer way than you might think. So,
yeah. And the cool thing too is that I can tell Preston's sense of urgency if I ask him a question. He's honest if he doesn't know. And then he always comes back with the actual information. Oftentimes it's when I come into the store, like, hey, that thing you asked about. But yeah, he always comes through for me. And then it makes me seem way smarter than I am to my clients. But oftentimes I just tell them, like, hey, I'm going to ask my guy Preston real quick.
Yeah. Good go-to person. He makes us seem a lot smarter than we are too.
Yeah.
So
you guys definitely have by far the best tasting whey isolate. That Reese's Puff one, dude, like, it's my favorite, man.
Heck yeah.
Dude,
that's awesome, man. Yeah. Appreciate that.
I'm so glad you like that one, man. We were super stoked when they came out, and it's one of those things where it's like, you never really know how things are going to be received. Like, we could all love it and it just be something that, but like, man, like, we've had so many people come back and just be like super pumped about how they taste. And like, I know you, once the peanut butter puffs came out, like, you've been all for it.
Is that the go-to flavor?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's easily my go-to. And it helps too with like sweet cravings. And so I'll refer it for my clients as well, because a lot of times they'll have cravings at the end of the night or something, and it just does the trick for me.
Yeah,
it really does. So.
That's honestly one thing I talked about a handful of times in different contexts before is people starting to get into dieting. It's like, I'm struggling to get my protein and I'm struggling with cravings. It's like, get a protein powder that's tasty, because if you're dealing with, you've got a sweet tooth and you're not getting enough protein, that is 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah, so you can get a lot done that way. Like when you don't realize too, like, for a lot lot of people, I say this a lot, and maybe it's not everybody, but it's like a sweet tooth, it's so many situations can just be like hunger too. Like you're just wanting something to like satiate you. And it's like going for something that has like a sweet base, like kind of flavor to it on top of like being satiating to like any degree at all. You're like, oh man, like I, you know, like me, if I'm like in between meals or whatever, and I'm like, gosh, like I really want, I don't know. And it's like, I drink a protein shake. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't care about that at all anymore. Like, like it's crazy how like I don't care.
Dude, I remember this was my 2019 prep, and I was doing this was like, I think maybe 4 weeks out. We were doing kind of like a mock peak week to test some things out. And I was legit going to like go all out and do like more of like a cheat meal, like the night before kind of deal. I think I was going to do like a burger and fries kind of cheat meal. Like, hey, let's see what this produces in the morning kind of situation. But I bumped my carbs and the rest of my meals throughout the day to kind of just overall like be able to kind of track that. And I was going to do the burger and fries after my workout in the evening, and I had cream of rice and protein powder, which was just Define Whey. I still do that actually for my pre-workout, and I got to double the amount of cream of rice that I was doing with the protein. And I remember eating that and just being satiated. I'm like, I really don't even want that burger anymore.
Yeah.
Like it was like, that was delicious, and I'm satiated. And now it's like, man, I crave that burger. Like I was craving that burger like nothing else at the beginning of the day. And that cream of rice just curbed it.
Yeah.
There you have it, folks. If you're ever just having a bad craving, just be like Kevin. Just eat some cream of rice.
I still went and ate the burger.
There he is. There we go.
When you did that prep, did you prep yourself?
I did. So my very first show I did with Sherry Smith. She wrote my diet, workout plan, everything. And that was in 2016. And 2019, my second show, I wrote my own diet plan, my own workout plan, cardio, everything. But I did posing with her once a week. I also did a lot of posing with JT as well. But she was kind of my once a week check-in. How am I doing? And would be my second set of eyes and general guidance of, hey, do we need to still keep pushing? Do we still need to keep pushing calories down? You know, are we getting to the point where we're too flat? Do we need? And she was the one. I think the biggest thing was able to tell me confidently, like, hey, yes, you need to still be pushing, trying to get in a staying in a deficit, depleting calories. And was the one to be able to tell me that once I got to that spot, which was like, I think 2 or 3 weeks out of like, hey, hold here, and you'll be good to refeed back into that show, because I wouldn't have known when to make that call.
Yeah.
So.
I was going to ask, and then going into that show, what'd you do for the carb up, or whatever you want to call it, like your carb loading? Yeah. Did you do the burger and fries for that one?
No, I didn't. I actually kept it quite a bit cleaner. I did, the night before or the day before, I just increased the carbs that I was doing already, like in my meal, so decent amount of rice. Yeah. And then I had steak and potatoes the night before, and I did it. I can't remember how many potatoes or like how many carbs I did there, but obviously a lot more than usual. And then just beef and white rice the next day. So
I don't know if I'd be able to do steak. For some reason, steak just sits so heavy on my stomach that I can't do beef like pre-workout typically either. I usually go for white fish typically. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but dude, it was funny what you mentioned earlier. It said, I think Thomas, you said something about when he was eating grapefruit, you saw like his eyes roll. Dude, I think Sarah has it recorded on her phone. Dude, the night before, Cameron was having me carb load the night before my show in California, I guess 2 years ago now.
Yeah. Gosh, that's crazy. That's 2 years ago.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that until the other day. But yeah, it was a video. It was rice, almond butter, bacon, and I think it was like the smallest amount of ground beef in there, and it was amazing, dude. Even in the video, I was like, "Oh my god, this is so good!" Like I sounded like the fattest person ever, dude.
So that's a regular meal for you now, right? That's that.
Pretty much, yeah. My meals
the bacon, the peanut butter,
dude. My meals got super weird after prep. Like I just mix everything together now.
Yeah.
But that night, that was like.
Did you ever reach Alfonso levels where he was doing like blueberry muffin rice and grinds with like beef and carrots
and
like almond butter?
I remember seeing his story one time, and it was like that. And I was like, dude, that doesn't even. There's no way I couldn't do that. Yeah.
He's like, well, it's blueberry muffin, rice and grinds, almond butter, beef, carrots, and mustard. Like, what are you talking about? It's good.
Mustard on
And
top.
they came out with the taco flavored rice and grinds, and then it made more sense. I was like, okay, I can get with it now. But when he was doing the blueberry one with the beef, I was like, yeah, I can't do that.
You're wild, dude.
But the reason I got weird with my food is because I remember Cam sent over my meal plan, and it was like fish, rice, and blueberries. And I just don't like to ask a lot of questions with him. We don't. His coaching for me is probably super easy because I don't ask a lot of questions. But I was like, I just assumed he wanted me to mix it together, so I did. Yeah. From then on, if there's fruit, I just mix it with whatever the food is. There. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Just mix it together and eat.
One of the funniest questions I get, and this is more for people that are typically not trying to prep for a show, but just trying to get more in shape. I love the assumption if I put like eggs as an option for protein. People assuming that they have to boil the eggs.
Oh,
they're like, it's like, hey, like 4 eggs equals, about 24 grams of protein. And I'll get questions of like, oh gosh, do I have to boil those? I'm like, no, like, why would you do you like boiled eggs? Like, no, I hate boiled eggs. I'm like, well, do you like scrambled eggs? Like, yeah, I love scrambled eggs. I'm like, then scramble the eggs. Like, why are you assuming you have to, like, it's just funny that they're like, I think they're dreading dieting in the first place, that when they see something like eggs on their plan, they're just assuming it has to be the worst possible because they're assuming it's going to be bad. And it's like, no, dude, throw it in a pan and scramble.
Dude, I actually enjoy a majority of the meals that Cam has set up for me now. And it actually just really, like, when he pulls my honey, that's when I'm like, bro, come on. And he'll pull it on like rest. Like he recently pulled them for rest days for their own purposes. But I'm like, damn, dude. Out of all the things he could have pulled, I was praying the potatoes would go, but it was the honey. Yeah, so,
dude, that's too funny.
I'm just human like everyone else.
Yeah, right.
Are you prepping right now? Or are you just off season or
no? Just off season. I would have loved to do a show this year, but I don't. With the caliber of roster Cameron has, it's kind of hard to stack up to that. And
he's got some very big clients, man.
But I really just want to make sure that I can go in confidently, win the show that I have my sight set on, and then hopefully go to national or whatever national show I do.
I think the fact that you're spending so much time in off season with him will be able to produce a very solid result, because I think I know a lot of people, will work out or do their off season on their own and then hire a coach when it comes to prep. And it's like, well, you're still kind of trying to figure things out. And, they weren't able to like put the muscle on that they would have wanted to with you in your off season.
They might have pushed at different points.
Right. Exactly. Kind of gotten your metabolism or insulin sensitivity or whatever it might be, the right way, and gone through fluctuations in the off season and had you in the right spot when you started prep. So
my last show was Natty. So it was like an 8-month prep, which, dude, it was almost.
I remember that, man.
They canceled it like 4 or 5 weeks out, and I had to find another one, and so that was rough. But and so I just, in my head, I feel like Cameron likes to prep at a slower rate, and we use a lot of like diet breaks, refeeds, cardio breaks, and things. So it's just makes for a less stressful and safer prep. But I just knew I didn't have that time window, and I don't want to rush. Quality.
Right.
I know it's not. Dude. And the ground that I've covered this year, I know next season, if he lets me start prep, if things are good, if I can start prep like towards the end of this year or like January 1 next year, like we did. I'd be straight.
Yeah. Little off the wall question. Did I see he just bought a McLaren?
Yeah, bro.
Dude, he's killing it, man.
I haven't talked to him about it at all. Which we've never even got to meet yet, because I haven't.
Oh wow!
I feel like, my show was all the way in Cali. I wasn't paying for him to fly all the way out there. Right? But at the way he moves now, I feel like he's mostly at like your IFBB qualifying show typically, or if you have a pro show. But dude, the McLaren looks crazy. Seeing which. It's crazy because I don't think people realize how young Cameron is, but I think Cam's only 25, maybe.
Jeez,
maybe.
Dude.
And I got with him after JT. I saw what he did with JT, and I was like, dude, I'm getting in. I think the same thing with tattoo artists, but I'm like, I'm going in before he gets super expensive.
Yeah,
and sure enough, like,
because he's got to pay for that McLaren now.
Through
the roof, man.
Dude, I saw his athletes JT and Jarek, and I don't really remember him having too many female athletes like on stage at the time, but I got in, and then after that, dude, he just took off. He's such a smart kid, man.
Yeah. I remember talking to JT about him a little bit early on like why he chose to go with Cameron and whatnot. And then I saw Chris obviously worked with him and went to the Olympia this past year as well. He looked phenomenal.
Yeah. And Cam simplifies things so well. And I mean, like, I don't know what the other, like how he operates with his other athletes and things, but yeah, man, I think we think a lot, like very similarly. So a lot alike. And it just makes everything way easier for us. We don't have to communicate a lot.
Right.
It's just, dude, it's just easy with him.
Yeah, you just get what he's going for, and you can roll with it.
I think that's an underrated thing, man. Is when finding like a prep coach or even just a coach in general, man, is finding someone
coworker.
Yeah, that's another good one. But yeah, so finding someone that you guys mesh well with. Of like because I can communicate with some people and they just have no idea what I'm saying. Like they take it totally wrong, and I have to like over explain or like spend so much time. But there's other people where I can be like, I can say like not even a full sentence, and they're like, I know exactly what you want.
Yeah,
and
that was literally us the other night at the group workout. I was working the table with like the food and stuff, and Kevin comes over and he's like, "Hey, just before we leave," I'm like, "Hey, yeah, clean up, make it look better than we got here." And he's like, "Yeah, all right." Like, yes, right. Yeah, that's like I need about 3 words most times, and I think opposite way too. Where it's like you need about 3 words, and I know what you're getting at. Like, yeah we're good, we got it.
Neat.
Yeah, I feel like if there was any other coach, at least as far as that I know that I'd be able to work with, it might be Mark, the guy that I signed on with to be one of his assistant coaches. But yeah, Cam's never even, I have 0 reason to ever move on from that as of right now.
If it's working and you guys are on the same page and kind of go on the same rhythm, that's just too easy then.
Yeah. Well, man, I gotta assume we're working with Cameron like as a client and working with a new group that you're with. I gotta assume it's kind of nice getting experience from 2 different groups and like obviously both very high caliber coaches. Right. I gotta assume that like you as a coach you're probably continuing to learn at an exponential rate right now.
And that's the exact reason I made the move that I did to join Dominic Trained. You guys know Baker Shields and Addison Shields really well too. So it was actually, that was my plan A for a long time, was to join on with them. And I just kept praying about it, talking to like my family and stuff. And then Mark and Cameron, we're talking about Cameron Cheek for people who don't know, but Mark and Cameron are super close. They're really, really good friends as well. And so I developed a friendship with Mark through just social media. And then as I started to get closer to him, I felt like, man, this could be a really good opportunity for me to learn from someone, go in and learn versus being the guy going and teaching when I feel like I still have so much to learn. I felt like if I had moved on with Baker and Addie, that while I would have been able to bring them a lot of useful info and stuff, I just feel like it would have been a short fuse, and then I would have been searching for more knowledge myself.
Sure.
And so moving with, it was crazy because I actually reached out to Mark just through Instagram. I was like, dude, I don't know if you're taking on coaches or what. But he was like, that's crazy you ask, because you're on a list right now that we were wanting to interview to bring on someone. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it was crazy to think that they had already been thinking about me too. So I was like, at that point, I was like, yeah, this is the right move. That doesn't happen. We've never met. We don't. Dude, out of all the coaches he knows. Yeah. So it's been.
And it's cool, like in hearing you just talk about it and like the things and everything that they're kind of doing, like development wise. It seems like that's just a big priority for them, is to keep developing you guys and get your knowledge up, because those are the things that like that kind of experience and that kind of knowledge is, like you said, it's one thing to kind of go into it where like, you know, go into a situation where you are the teacher versus kind of being the student. And it's like, man, there's so much to learn out there. And it's like, it's a really good perspective to have of like, man, like I know what I'm going to be needing and wanting. And like me growing my own basis of knowledge is really going to be the thing that's going to push this longer and longer and like in what you're kind of trying to do. And so that's super cool, man.
Yeah. I definitely, and the cool thing was obviously Baker and Addie were super understanding of it, and we're super close with it still. But it was one of those things where I just knew that I don't just want to be just an online coach. Like working with lifestyle clients are awesome, but I want to get to the point where I can put a pro on stage and be aiming for an Olympia qualification. That's what I'm trying to get to. So I knew I needed to get in that room if I ever wanted to be in the room.
Surround yourself with people that are doing that, man. Smarter than you are,
and
kind of deal.
Yeah, and like you said, Thomas, like they take the personal development or the, I guess, group development so seriously that like a portion of the percentage that he takes over our commission or whatever that he gets, he doesn't even use it for himself. He puts it back into our education.
Yeah.
And so it pays for like group mentorships. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's the thing is it's like, getting that's what like it continues to build like a big network too, like you start looking at like, even for us, like we're trying to just like, while we're trying to develop our people to be, as good as they can be in the store, we're also just trying to develop them to be as good as they can be in general. And so like, that's a big part of it is it's like, I'm trying to build you a solid future, whether it's with us or not. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to build you into, hopefully being a better person, a better, leader or whatever. And it's like, if I can instill these things in you, how to be intentional with, customers and clients and all that kind of stuff, like we can instill those kind of ideas into you. It's like, well, that'll take you a lot of places, whether it's with Triad Define or like a whole nother company or your own thing or like whatever. We want to make sure that we can kind of build that development for anybody.
It builds a lot of leaders for us, which is obviously that's hugely beneficial for us. We get to put people in leadership positions that thoroughly understand the company because they've been here for a number of years. But at the same time, we know not everybody's. It's not going to be everybody's path where we would like everybody's path to stay with us. There's going to be some people that learn a lot when they're with us and find out they want to do something else, but now have the experience and the know-how to accomplish other things because they gain some experience while just being at the store.
Something, and it's like you start looking back at the people that like don't work for us anymore, and it's like the network of people and friends that we have. The net is so big anymore. And it's cool
Zach
to
Yunker at the
Alfonso. Dude, there's tons. Like it's crazy. You're like, it's super cool to see them. And like not to take any credit for any of the things that they're doing now, but it's like it's really cool to see them be successful in their own ways and kind of continuing to push themselves. And having any playing any role in that timeline for them is awesome.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we were able to especially with those two guys, it's like, man, as much as we felt like we taught them, I feel like they taught us too.
100%.
And so like it's a cool thing to be on both sides of that. But it's such an important thing where I follow this like TikTok account where it's just like bad bosses, and it's this guy just like reading messages from bad bosses that like just people being jerks, and it's like it's crazy to listen and like what these people are telling their employees, and you're just like, man, like it's amazing how much like a little care and a little like desire to like help somebody be successful no matter what they want to do, like how far that will go for you. It's not how like people get super angry or like super upset when people like go take another opportunity that's like good for them or their family or whatever. And you're just like, bro, like, come on, man. Like at the end of the day, like I want you, like we say this for all of our employees, like I want them all to be successful, whether that's again with us or not. Like we want them to, be built up as a person and hopefully learn something. Hopefully we have something to offer them. And then, that can take them wherever they want to go or help get them somewhere.
Right. We're not a good company to work for if we're not putting their well-being over anything else that they provide for us. So
it's crazy. You start talking to people and you could tell it's not that way.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I feel like you can tell from the outside looking in, if you come in and talk to the employees, if you actually become friends with them, because you guys almost create roles within the business that suit them to excel.
Yeah.
I feel 100%. Like you have done that with everyone. So
yeah, literally, we don't even call assistant managers.
Yeah.
We call them ATs, so it stands for advancement training, where it's literally like, you're in advancement training. What do you want to advance in? Like whether that's management, whether that's social media, whether that's picture.
A lot of that came from Ryan, which I use him as an example quite a bit because he's advanced in his position pretty quickly, quicker than even I advanced in my position, honestly. But he started legitimately just in store up at the Quail Springs store, and slowly got more and more involved with our social media and photography and editing. And he revamped our Define website recently, the ambassador program, and legitimately worked his way full time to where he's not even in store anymore. So
yeah, I think stuff like that is dope. And it's always cool to see, since I'm friends with literally, I feel like every employee, at least as of this point, it's always cool to see.
Absolutely.
And that's the same thing kind of that over at Tom and Train, like we all kind of have our own strengths and things like that we bring to the table. And Mark definitely he's aiming to figure out what your strength is and how he can apply that and put into play with the whole team. So
benefit the team, benefit you.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, it's crazy, man. You'll see. And it's just crazy to even like look back I've never brought this up on the podcast before, but I was thinking about this the other day because we have done some different things with the company, like introducing. We're always trying to like introduce like new benefits or things that we can kind of do, and like we've been recently able to like introduce like some different vacation time and like some different things for people who haven't had it in the past, and so it's cool, you know, like hey, we can do this, we can afford this, like why not, you know, like let's try to make every position or this position that people are in like an even cooler position for whatever reason, and myself, I do like all of our like formal HR stuff like on the back end, and so like I'm writing out the different programs and the different ideas of kind of like how we would do this or how we would structure it. And I don't even know if I've ever told you this, funny enough, and I like had to laugh to myself like thinking about it, because when I worked at the hospital, my bonus was based off of how much unused vacation was left over at the end of the year.
That's crazy, yeah.
How much unused vacation was left. So if I
incentivizing you to convince people to not take vacation.
Literally. And like I never did, but it was like that was like it was a percentage of the unused vacation that was like a huge factor into it, like our percentage of bonus. How fucked is that? Like what?
And thinking of, or when you mention stories like that, I always hear crazy stories when clients come through for consultations, and it's just like how you guys probably hear it from other jobs that they may have worked or whatever their past experiences. Dude, some of the experiences I hear with athletes coming in from other coaches, I'm like, good Lord, you went through that? Your prep was like that? Like,
right.
Yeah, man.
Dude, it's well, and that is like that's an even scarier, like dangerous game, because you start looking at like enhancements and things and stuff where it's like
even just what they're eating,
dude. Well, and it's like especially with like PEDs and things like that, where you're just like, okay, like well, you know, there's no secret in like the bodybuilding game, like people are using steroids, but like I've like talked to people before and I'm like, oh, okay, well, man, you know, like, well, what did your coach have you doing? And you're like, and it's like, yeah, this is my first prep. So I was on this and this and this and this. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
Like, bro, that is, and it's like, that's the scary thing is like, if you don't know better, or, you know, if you're just like, okay, this is, I guess, what it takes. It's like, well, no. Like you can go a real long way being natural in this game, and it's like there is so much that you can do with that, and it's like you don't have to
find your potential naturally. At least some of your potential naturally.
Well, right, and you're like, yeah, it's like, you know, and you're talking to some kid who was, you know, 22 years old, and like, you know, it was like, yo, I was on a gram of this, and you're just like,
yeah.
What?
That was actually what drove me to sign on with Cam too. Referring back to him is like, I felt like which was crazy because it was when I was like 27 or whatever, but I felt like, man, I really tapped everything I could as far as my genetic potential went.
Sure.
And then sign on with him. I told him I wanted to be an IFBB pro. Super honest, was like, probably not going to happen naturally, dude. Like, and then, but from there, he just agreed to push me as far as we could, and then I still made all those improvements. But it was just cool because he never once pushed any drugs or anything.
Dude.
That's good for him, man. That's awesome.
For real.
Yeah.
I have one funny story that I don't even know the coach's name because I never got it. It's just kind of hearsay. But I remember hearing a story of a coach that in a meal plan, amongst a handful of other things, had recommended 3 raisins.
What in the world?
And I was like, you mean like 3 ounces of raisins? And like, no, 3 raisins. Like, what? Are you just doing random stuff to make it seem like you're smarter than everybody else? Or like, what's the deal here?
Dude, yeah. No. I don't, and sometimes I get scared of like that because whenever I'm making meal plans, I'm just seeing numbers a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I'll put like, I don't know, like 50 grams or something. I'm like, it's worse if it's something I don't eat. I'm like, man, Sarah, does this sound like a lot? Because then I'll go look at things. Because I'm so picky, dude. I'm one of the pickiest people you'll probably ever meet. So sometimes I'll put foods on plans that I don't even eat, like yogurts and oatmeal. Like I don't like oatmeal. So whenever I'm putting that on someone's plan, I'm like, damn, I don't know. Is 80 grams a lot? I don't know.
For real.
Yeah, so I just have to.
You're not sitting there eating 80 grams of oatmeal.
Yeah. So I have to look at the number, like as far as like how many carbs are getting that meal. That helps me understand.
Sarah, make 80 grams of oatmeal and eat it. Let me look at it.
Yeah, because I don't venture out from my normal white rice, really.
Yeah. Hey,
white rice and
right.
potatoes.
That's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's crazy though. Like and again, like if you don't know, or like don't know, because it's a tricky game, right? Because then there's like, getting a second opinion. But then I've also talked to a million people who like, they were working with a coach and then they started getting a second opinion about something, and then they were half doing two different things. Ooh. And you're like, well, that's even worse. Like I get, it's like, you got to find somebody that you can have an open dialogue with and be like, hey, is this actually what I need? Or is this like what this person's just pushing? Like, man, I remember when I was like, when I was prepping for that first show, like I remember him just from like a enhancement standpoint was like, he's like, I want you on this and this and this. And I'm like, bro, what?
Yeah.
Like, and not even in a prep, right?
Yeah. And it's like in a pre-prep, and it's like, and I'm like, no, thanks. Like, yeah. I'm good. Like, I don't need to like, no.
Yeah, man. Cam did a really good job. He didn't push anything for me at all. So it was easy, but dude, yeah, you'll hear some wild stories, and a lot of them come with peak week. That's where because people try to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
And that's what I learned I have so many books of like different peak weeks, and it comes to the point where like you have to kind of limit who you're getting information from or how much information you're getting, right. Because if you follow 15 coaches online and they're all saying different things, like that can start to get into your own head. And also me as a coach, it can make me question what I know or what I feel like I know as well. So there's people where I'm just like, sometimes it's okay for me to agree to disagree, but eventually I just have to start kicking people off my Instagram feed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, what they're saying doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Or what they're doing. There's plenty of that out there.
And maybe there's, maybe some logic behind of like why that works, but like, man, I just don't feel like that's better than the route that this route that I usually personally take. So
I feel like, and oftentimes, dude, the more hands you have in the pot with a prep, that's outside of just comparison to social media and stress. That's probably up there with like the top 5 things that can ruin it. Is because like they're probably not going to be honest with their current coach that they're sourcing information from somewhere else. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you, this is my favorite story of somebody that I was talking to? This was years ago, so it wasn't even at Triad. I think this was at someone's superstore, so I feel safe to tell this story. But I had a lady come in one time, and she had been working with a coach, and she was like, I'm not losing any weight at all. And it was a lifestyle client, and she definitely like she had some ground to make up. But I'm like, oh, my first question is always like, okay, well, like how long have you been working with your coach? And she's like, I've been working with them for, I think she said like 5 months or like 4. And I'm like, that's a pretty good amount of time. Like if you aren't seeing results like within like 5 months, like something's up. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, well, like what's like your nutrition plan look like? And she starts kind of breaking down what she's eating. And she's like, she's eating like egg whites in the morning, and like goes through it. And it's like, she's got like 4 meals a day, all lean protein, like good carbs, veggies, like, sensible fats. And I'm like, and you're not losing any weight at all. Like her calories, like, like her calories were probably like 2,200. Like I was like, this all makes sense. Like none of this is like crazy. And I'm like, okay, well, look, and like you're obviously getting some, like, what kind of supplements do you take? And he's like, she's like, he has me on like carnitine, greens, and a protein shake. And I'm like, again, like all of those things like
should be
make
hindering.
Pretty solid sense. And I'm like, she's like, I end up taking a pre-workout. I'm like, that's not gonna have an effect, And I'm like, okay. And we start going through it, and I'm like, well, like, okay, just run me through your day, like, because I'm like, this is like this, I'm missing something here, right? And she starts breaking down that she has like her greens in the morning. She has like, I think she was taking carnitine like twice a day. So she was taking like her greens, and then she was taking her carnitine, and then she was taking her pre-workout, and then she was doing carnitine again at night. And I was like, okay, like, well, no, you're just mixing with water. And she goes, water? Ew, I'm not mixing those with water. And I go, what do you mean you're not mixing them with water? I'm like, oh, like, what are you mixing them with? And she's like, well, each of them say to mix with like 6, or some of them even say like 16 ounces of water. And she's like, I like, they're just gross with water. And I'm like, what do you mix them with? And she goes, pineapple juice,
Wow. Yeah.
Dude, we figured it out. She was drinking like almost 50 ounces of pineapple juice every day. It was like 200 and like something grams of sugar, like totally unaccounted for by her coach.
Dang, yeah, dude, and that actually happens a lot, and a lot of times you have to go through all those questions just to get to that.
And because she's like, and I'm like, whoa, you're mixing with pineapple juice? I'm like, that's a lot of sugar. And she goes, well, like, and of course she's like, she's struggling and not understanding. And she's like, well, it's natural sugar. And I'm like, well, okay, but that's like,
I think that's why they hired a coach in the first place, is because they don't understand.
Right.
Like, fruit juice isn't necessarily like especially in abundance, isn't necessarily healthy for you.
Right.
Or like going to be able to produce weight loss. So.
And then my next question was like, how much money are you spending on pineapple juice?
Yeah, dude, that's
a lot of pineapple juice.
Dude, yeah, that's a ton, man. Yeah, that I think one time in prep, actually for a week straight, because I was tracking macros at the time, and I was using the copy and paste method or whatever you can use in there.
Yeah.
And I had copied a rest day, and so for a week straight, I had been thinking I was eating a certain number of carbs, and I was over by like 100. And I sent my check in to Cam. I was like, I don't know what's going on, man. Like something's just off. Like nothing changed this week, and then I ran through it. And I was like, yeah. I felt like an idiot, but thankfully we were so far out. It didn't
you were able to adjust. But that was like
happens to the best of us. Just weird little random things that just like there's some wires get crossed or something that's not fully communicated, and it just should happen. So
this lady was again, this was years ago, and this was at someone's superstore. She was not the nicest lady, and I'm like trying to talk to her, and she's like telling me I'm wrong, and I'm like, okay, like whatever, and she's like, I'm gonna fire my coach, and I'm like, that's fine, like do whatever you want.
Maybe ask your coach about the pineapple juice before you fire him. Just do that for me.
She was probably like, get her out of here. But I was like, that's one of the crazier ones I've heard, where you're just like, oh man, like, that's going to be your culprit, like right there for sure.
100%,
like you're drinking half a gallon of pineapple juice a day.
Yeah. But it's hard too as a coach, because if you don't, like if your check-in system isn't highly detailed with a lot of questions, you can go all day or multiple days trying to figure out what you just had to get to the bottom of in the store. And so I'm sure a lot of times my athletes are like, man, there's a lot of questions on our check-in sheet. This takes forever. But it's like, sometimes you guys don't give me the information I need to do my job. So it's just better if it's there.
Which is why the communication is so important, and communication both ways as well.
Yeah.
So,
and that's what I take pride in. I'm not outside of bodybuilding. I don't feel like I'm a very good communicator, but I really try with my athletes for sure to make sure they understand either why we're making a move. And I know Laurel could attest to that too. Is like, I don't ever hesitate if someone asks me why they're doing something, but typically if I make a change, I include a why with it.
I think you do a really good job, and this is just like what I've listened in on, is you do a really good job, and I think this is like an underutilized thing for some people, is you send voice messages where you're just talking to somebody, and it's like that I think makes information sometimes so much easier to digest. It's just like, she'll be sitting on the couch and I just hear your voice, and it'll be like, hey, what's up, Laurel? Like, like looking good with this. Let's do this, and this is why we're doing this. And it's like, but that information becomes like super digestible, like super easy. And then, like she's like, yeah, it was great. And you know, it takes no time, like no effort on her half to just like listen to what you have to say. And I think that is something that you do really well. Just in my experience of seeing it, is like your communication with your clients.
I feel like it's easier as a person to adhere to something if I understand why I'm doing it.
All day. All day.
I feel like a lot of emotions on the coaching end can get misconstrued if I don't send a voice memo, because they may think that I'm mad about something or whatever it is if the text looks dry. So I try to do the voice memo thing.
No, it works. It works, man. So, from somebody who, like, I know she appreciates it, and I've listened, and I'm like, that is good. Like, it's solid, man.
Is it a little quicker to do the voice memos too, as opposed to typing it all up?
Yeah, especially in times where we're in prep, where I'm making a lot of changes for some reason that week. It makes it way easier if I can just get it all out in a voice memo, and then they can refer back to it as well.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I've actually I've sent you more voice memos like sometimes in texting, like we'll be going over something and I'll just be like, this is just easier for me to just say in a voice thing.
I do call people a lot more than I was funny. I think I was having like a really busy like week or two, and I was like, I don't have time to like type up text to anybody, so I was just calling everybody. And it was the same week that like all the introverts that work here, they're like, I hate phone calls. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, I'm gonna fucking call you.
Yeah, right. Deal with it. That's too funny.
No, I'll say I call people too a lot more now. I'm big on FaceTime. I love FaceTiming people too. It just feels way more personal.
Yeah, it definitely does. Well, I think it's right. Like the body language, the voice inflection, like all of that kind of stuff. Like you're giving a real like, hey, I'm like, you could tell like I'm not upset or like whatever. Yeah. Like it's just like, hey, you know, even if it's not great, it's like, hey man, like shit happens. Like let's get back to it. Let's figure this out. You know.
All right. Total tangent here, really quick. One thing I didn't realize until I heard somebody else mention this. But FaceTime is like, obviously there's a whole lot more body language, like voice. You can obviously understand inflection and overall mood of different people way more than text. So that's already a step in the right direction. FaceTime is even more because you can see body language and understand like, you know, and see them person to person. So that's already a step in the right direction, but it's still not quite the same as talking to someone face to face, like in like real life, because you're not actually making eye contact because you're looking at the camera or you're looking at the screen and the camera, but not at the camera. Yeah. So I didn't realize that. And I was like, I don't know why I never noticed that, but yeah, it is just a hair off.
I never even thought about it.
I didn't either until someone said that. I'm like, that's so weird though.
Yeah.
You should put the camera in the middle of the screen.
Maybe. I feel like I was in context of like someone trying to figure out how to like solve that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I've started utilizing a lot, which actually my friend Baker told me to start using it, but Loom, Loom, that app. I don't know. I know I sent it to Laura when I onboarded her, but like it records my screen and my face and my voice all at the same time.
Oh,
so
nice.
like
I've heard of this. Yeah.
So I can show them their entire like program as I onboard them and show them like where their cardio is or where their macros are, and then walk them through. And it changes the game when it comes to form training videos. So when they send me RDLs or whatever, I can highlight certain things or move the mouse around.
Yeah.
And they can again hear my voice, see me. I can stand up and show them how to do a lateral raise or whatever it is.
Right.
And it really helps. Definitely
That's
helps,
awesome.
yeah.
That's really cool.
That's super dope.
Loom, Loom.
Yeah. I know a lot of like businesses use it too with meetings and things they need to send out, so everyone can see the same thing.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I mean, like think about like having something like that for like we could send something out. Like if I added something to the handbook where I could be like kind of going through it, and you could see my like face and my voice, and like I could be like going through how it like that'd be super solid. That is a cool thing.
Yeah, 100%.
And one of the things that helps is like if a client is asking like something about their meal plan, instead of me sending a text that sounds rude where it's like, well, if you look on meal 3 it says like, I can pull up a Loom video and be like, here on meal 3 it shows eat this, and it doesn't come off as
dry like you were saying earlier. Which I can understand. Like dude, that mean like I'm sure Kevin and I can attest to this, where it's like dude, like tone is everything, and like where messages are being delivered from is like another one. Like we always joke about how like involving Kevin in like an employee situation always like we could all be whispering and be very quiet and be like everything's okay, but if Kevin's there, it's a 10. It's a 10 on intensity no matter what. And so it is one of those things where it's like you have to account for those kind of things and kind of control them as much as you can, because like the last thing you want is like, you know, a client leaving being like, Chad was just super cold and mean or whatever, like, you know, telling me these things, and it's like from you, and I know you're just like, oh no man, like it's just right over here, like you know, like being super chill about it. But it's like but it's hard to communicate those things if you don't have the right avenues to do it.
I feel like that my characteristics or how nice I am in that sense too is also something I've had to learn how to deal with and create boundaries, establish boundaries. Because dude, like 8 or 9 o'clock, if a client hits me with a question, back then I used to be like, oh yeah, let me handle that right now. But now it's they get an automated message and I get to it the next day.
Yeah. Well, that's an important thing too.
That was a big thing for me, especially like at the time where I was able to leave my other job and come on here full time. And it was like, I'm putting everything I can into this. I get to spend all my days on it. And, where we are only open 12 hours, it was still like, well, I could work on other back end stuff or, marketing or relationships or this or that, like well into the evening. I could work, 24. I could find enough work to do 24 hours a day every single day. But at the same time, that's not sustainable. I'm not going to be efficient. I'm going to start making bad decisions, yada, yada, yada. So I finally had to learn that I had to set parameters myself where I don't expect myself to do any work outside of like before 9 a.m. or after 9 p.m. It's like, and if I get a little free time in there, that's awesome. But like, I never, if it gets to 9 p.m., there's no expectation to get anything done. Relax, chill, do whatever. So
you got to do that.
The way I looked at it too is like, from your standpoint, is like, if it was something that you had to call someone, like, who are you going to call at 9 p.m. anyway to fix whatever it is? Right. Yeah, it's like, so my cutoff is a little earlier than yours at 7 p.m., but that's just like
that was when I was still doing a lot of hours. I don't work till 9 p.m. as nearly as often as I used to.
I'm just handling nutrition questions. Like, you're running a whole 3 stores? Yeah, 3 locations. Right. Yeah, so it's different.
It's mostly back end stuff. Honestly, it's a lot gets left up to the managers these days. That's for sure. So, and everybody else here, Alyssa with the inventory, Ryan with all our media. If you told me we need to change something on our website, I would have no idea where to start with that. But I know people that can do that. So.
But I know people. Yeah.
I feel like that's where the quality comes in too, though, is like, I mean, if not to knock you on any tech or anything, I'm not good with website stuff either. I had to pay someone for mine, but it's like, it's either, you could do it and the quality be subpar. Things are probably not linked right, or just let someone else take over, delegate it off to them.
Right.
It just excels.
That is how it goes. We you'll see it sometimes, like because I kind of like, I don't know, notoriously or famously fix most things that get broken around the stores, or at least major things.
He's our handsy man now.
I'm the handsy man. I get handsy sometimes, but it is really funny what I will find sometimes of like somebody, like a magnet came off of like one of those like card holder things that holds up like all the business cards, and instead of like letting anybody know, or like we could like re-epoxy it back on there so it actually stay, it was like wrapped in like packing tape and then just like stuck to the back, and like it fell off again. Like, sure did, didn't it? Like, hard to believe that didn't stay.
Yeah.
But right though, it is one of those things where it's like, what, I don't mind if that's the case. Like, I don't mind, having to deal with that kind of stuff where it's just finding the random crap that needs to kind of get taken care of, because there's plenty of it most of the time. So,
like, that is a constant job in itself with the paying rent on 4 places. Our landlords, some of our landlords are awesome. Some are very hands off. But most of them expect you to do pretty much everything yourself, which I'm sure you're familiar with. So
yeah, dude. That's how it was there. Owning the gym with Kaizen, like, our landlord there was very good. The initial landlord we had was amazing, and then he sold it to someone else. It wasn't great at all. But I think one time I came into the normal location when you were still there, Thomas. I think the air conditioning had broken or something.
That's one of like so a dozen times, dude.
The air conditioning, like that, the AC at that place is just cursed. I don't know what it is, but it is full blown cursed.
We did get a brand new one for free, which I don't know if I'm sure you're familiar with, like, if the AC goes wrong, like, you're in charge of fixing it, not the landlord. Like, you have to pay for whatever's broken with it. If it's $1,000 to fix it, it's out of your pocket, not the landlord's. Which was a big surprise to us when we first started renting. It was the AC unit on the Norman location was very old. So it was out like once a month towards the end. But when we had that hailstorm in Norman, it got damaged enough that it was covered by insurance. So our landlords put a brand new unit on there, and we didn't have to pay for any of it. Like, to put a new unit up there, we would usually have to pay for the entire new unit. And that was a blessing, but I don't know. It seems to already not be working. So
I wasn't sure if Kevin knew, but I was about to be like, the new one's broken.
The
new one's broken.
I'm hoping it's
luckily like it's under warranty. Yeah, we already had
under warranty.
The warranty.
It's still cold out, so it's not like getting super hot in there. I'm hoping it was just like maybe something got weird in the installation,
which is crazy because we have like the situation there should make the most sense in the world for that to never be a problem, but it is a problem. So this new so the guy that we have work on our AC units works for GE or what. I don't remember what company it is, but he literally is an engineer that builds and designs AC units, and then just in his spare time comes and services like our units and whoever else he like hires him, right? So the dude that services our unit on a regular basis, like whenever we have like semi-annual, like somebody come out and look at it or something breaks, besides this most recent time because it's covered under warranty, the new unit that is broken, he designed. Like, it is literally his unit that he designed the entire thing, and like they came and installed it. He came and checked afterwards. He's like, everything looks good, and then it's like how do we, like, we have, you know, Bob Ford and we're driving a Ford and we're like, how is this broken? Like, and it's not his fault. It's like something must happen in the install or something, because they came, apparently, like what happened is he came and said everything was good, and then they came by again afterwards and like fiddled with it, and then now it's not working again. And it's like this thing is like, I don't know how many text messages I've had or how many times I've been on the roof of Norman to like work on an air conditioning unit. But it's a lot. It's a lot of texts, and it's a lot of times on that roof.
Gone through your, what do they call that? Like, not your assistant. What is it called? Like when tattoo artists shadow another tattoo. Your apprenticeship.
Yeah.
You put in your fair hours of,
dude.
He's putting his apprenticeship hours in. That's for sure.
I have changed a lot of electrical components on commercial air conditioning units.
You know, the funniest thing about this whole thing is the guy that does our maintenance on all of our HVAC units at all the locations. We know him. He's just a friend of a friend of ours who's a customer with us. And so, like, total happenstance, like, he just got recommended to us. It turns out he is more jacked than anybody that works in a store. Like, he is, like, huge. Like, how? Like, we all work in a supplement store, and you're our HVAC repair guy, and somehow you have more muscles than everybody.
Yeah, it's super funny.
Moving all those AC units.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
but yeah, no, it's funny. Yeah, I have like. Up there changing capacitors, changing circuits. I've done all sorts of stuff.
Nah, I don't mess with that stuff, dude. Yeah. I remember coming in that day that it was out. I was like, dude, it's hot as hell in there.
Oh yeah.
I left.
Not a fun time to be chilling. That's happened a couple of times now. Yeah.
Hopefully not too much in the future. Hopefully we get this new unit figured out.
Kidding.
It'll be good. But
yeah. What a interesting thing.
Yeah.
Chad, we've gone almost 2.5 hours.
Dang.
Dude, it goes quick, doesn't it?
Dang, yeah.
Goes so fast.
Dang.
Well, to kind of close things up, man, I just want to, pay you some kudos of like, we were kind of talking before, we got going here of like, we don't really even remember how we all got kind of hooked up in the beginning and kind of, met each other. But man, it's been really cool over the last, how long now? Like
at least 4.
Yeah,
4 years,
like a long time. Man, it's been really cool, like getting close to you, becoming friends, and like, I see the work that you do with your clients, my fiance being one, for a second time now being a client of yours. And I see the good that you do, not just with her, but the other clients that you have and the personal touch that you do. Man, it doesn't go unnoticed by them, and it doesn't go unnoticed by the people around you. Like the care and the time that you take with these people is really cool, and it's really special, man, because there are few, I say this very often, like when people ask me about like recommendations for coaches or whatever, there are very few people, and I know you know this too, but it's like there's very few people that I would trust with like my fiance, like my future wife kind of thing. And it's like, you are somebody who, when she was first kind of exploring and asking me, your name was like the first and only name that I brought up as somebody who like I felt like not just as a coach, but as like a mentor, as like a man, like everything. Like I thought that you brought something to the table that you don't see often, especially as a full package. And so, man, I'm personally really grateful for not just our friendship, but the way that you've treated my fiance and the other clients that I know that, shop with us, that I've gotten to meet or whatever. And I just appreciate you being my friend too. Yeah. So it's been really cool, man. And I'm excited to have you on now with Define. and to have you, with us as we're growing and you're growing, it's dude, it's a really cool thing. My favorite part about all of this, and I've said this before, and I was kind of reading a post I made the other day from like a year or so ago, where it was like, man, the coolest thing that I get to do on a regular basis is fun shit with my friends. And it's like, dude, that is like, if there's anything in life that like I won't regret, it will be that. It will be getting to, hang out with you guys, getting to do this kind of stuff, and like getting to be, together and doing defined stuff or whatever. It is a really cool thing to be taking these people that I'm super close with and that that we're all close with, and get to do something cool and really special with, man. So I'm really thankful for you, and I'm really thankful for you to come on the podcast. It's been a fun few years, man.
Dude, I definitely want to say thank you to you guys for embracing myself and my clientele, and always taking care of them in the store, for sure. Like, that's one of the things that I know that I can send them to any location. I know they're going to get taken care of. So it's even in the supplement world, you don't get that with every location. They come out either like abused mentally or like broke. Yeah. So, and that's the other thing, is I know you guys take care of them in multiple ways. So that means a lot. And then obviously both of you guys being friends of mine now, I appreciate all of that, all those kind words. And then knowing that you and Laurel trust me, and as well as my other clientele that might listen to this, that means a lot, man. Because to close things up, I always think about whenever my morals and ethics as a coach, I just bring my mom into the equation. I'm like, how would I find out, or how would I feel if I found out a coach was mistreating my mom in any way? And since I coach her, I can talk to her and do those things that I know she needs, take care of her in the way that she needs. But yeah, I feel like if more coaches probably moved like that, it'd be a safer place.
Yeah,
amen.
But, yeah, man. Yeah, I just definitely thank you guys for having me on the pod tonight.
It's funny you say that, and just it's something real quick, but it's like, we talk about this, I don't know how many times on the podcast now, but it's so similar, and that mindset is so similar to like what we do in the store. Is like, one of the first episodes, one of the things that we talked about was like, if we could hire somebody who like looked like C-Bum, but didn't really care, or somebody who looked like they'd never really like lifted a weight in their life, but treated every person that came in the door like it was their grandmother or their mom, like, I'm sorry, I'm taking the kid who's treating everybody well. Like, that is like the thing. Like, if more businesses in general, just thought that way, I really do think it would, like, most industries would be a better place.
For sure.
Well, man, dude, really appreciate you coming on with us, man. I know you're a busy person, and really starting to push online clients as well, man. And obviously, it sounded like you're doing very successful with that. So I know life is probably hectic for you right now, at least a little bit. But man, you talked about, being involved with us because you've kind of gotten to see the growth, even just over the last 3-4 years that you've been involved, man. I want you to know that everyone here was very excited to bring you on as an actual ambassador, man. It was something that I think had been talked about since the first time you bought a tub of glucose. So, but man, I think we're not only excited because the level of coach and competitor that you are today, but the potential that everybody sees in you in the future, man. We're excited to grow ourselves, but we're excited to have people on the team that we know are going to grow in the future too, man. And we're beyond pumped to see what you continue to do as a competitor, as well as a coach, man. So that's the kinds of people we want on the team, man, is people to grow with us. So
that's it. Dang, dude, that means a lot. Thank you guys for sure. Yeah,
man. Kevin, you know what episode this is?
38.
Did you take a picture on your phone?
Yeah.
To post on social media?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I missed all that.
Yeah.
I'm getting quicker about it.
Tell you what, I don't know what I was looking at. Well, it's it. Episode 38. That's crazy. We do them every 2 weeks, so that's like.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, gosh, that's
like a year and a half or something like that.
76. Yeah, 76 weeks ish.
Yeah.
Of doing this. That's a long time, man.
It's too late for math for me.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty smart. So we're going to leave it on that. Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Appreciate you watching.